As the cost of living continues to rise in the United States, people are finding it more and more difficult to make ends meet. And older Americans are feeling it more than most.
And as Paul Salmon reports, that's forcing many retirees to unretire.
How you doing?
71-year-old Christine drinks. The first face folks see at a veteran support group just outside Atlanta.
Did you ever expect to be working at this age?
No. Absolutely not.
Never even thought of it?
No, not at all.
Do you feel put upon that you have to work?
Yes.
You think it's unfair?
It is, most definitely. I mean, you work all your life, so this is what you look forward to, retirement, and you're thinking that you're going to be okay. You had called and needed help with...
Drinks retired in Maryland a couple of years ago to come down to Georgia to care for her 96-year-old mom.
From back in my mom's day, you were okay, because they got to retire at a very early age, and they got to retire and enjoy their life. That's not like that anymore. It's just too much with the price of everything. It's very, very difficult out here for elderly people, and it's really sad that we were put in that boat, but that's where we are.
Her Social Security doesn't cover the new cost of living, so I asked,
do you have savings?
Yes.
Are you drawing it down?
Yes. Oh, am I?
How long before it goes away?
I don't know. I'm trying to, curtail the best I can. Trying.
For the elderly, as for most unretirees, financial insecurity is the driver, though folks also return to work for so-called good reasons, like a sense of purpose. But mainly...
Right now, when it's hard to find a job, when you have high inflation, you're going to tend to see people unretire for the bad reasons.
Moreover, says economist Jeffrey Sanzenbacher,
people who have to unretire for economic reasons can be a lot less choosy. So they're going to come back to whatever they can find, and they're probably going to make less than they did before, and probably not because they're taking a job they like more.
Stories of older Americans working? All the rage online, like 78-year-old food delivery driver Richard Pulley. He came out of retirement when his wife lost her job in an economy with inflation at its highest rate since April 2023.
I have cut down on buying for anything at all that is not really necessary, like basic things, food, hygiene, cleaning items.
Orlando-based Myrna Colombo feels the economic pressure, too. Unretired at age 63, now working as a nurse's aide, she makes between $12 and $16 an hour. When do you think you'll be able to retire? For real?
I don't see it. Number one, I have to be very realistic at the current status. I don't see it.
Ever?
No, I do not see it. I had to go back to work because of medical expenses, bills.
Same for Richard Lubinsky in northern Florida, an environmental administrator now making $75,000 a year.
Health insurance was pretty expensive, and my wife and I both definitely need insurance. We've got chronic conditions that require regular care. My father-in-law's health declined, and we spent a considerable amount of money in his end-of-life care. So by the time, after all of that, most of my retirement savings was gone. So I started looking for work.
More than half of Americans say they can't afford medications and needed health care, a 5-year low, even though Americans have been retiring later.
There was a long trend towards earlier and earlier retirements as people had pensions and as Social Security came online, and that started to flip in the 90s, and so we've seen about a 2-year increase since the turn of the century.
But landing a job for retirees returning to work? No piece of cake.
It took me over 2 years. Jobs look at you like you don't have a whole lot of life left for me to hire you.
The unretirement rate actually peaked in 2022, in part because of a strong job market post-pandemic. But, says the economist, compared to so much of the recent past,
now we have a rising cost of living and not necessarily as many job openings. And that's what's going to be something I'm really keeping an eye on is, can people unretire even if they want to? Back then, they wanted to, they could.
Our final unretiree, 80-year-old Anita Sawyer, a $7.25 an hour receptionist at the courthouse in Cuthbert, Georgia.
I was working at a sewing factory up in Cuthbert. Made curtains, bedspreads.
After the factory closed,
I've done different things. Really retired in 2005.
Why did you go back to work?
Because I needed the money. I needed that extra money to survive on.
What would you do to the house, for example, if you had more money?
I'd have a lot of done stuff like my bathroom and my kitchen. I would like to be able to go somewhere for a couple of days just to get away, just to have a fun day, or just to get out.
But you're not thinking of going to, like, Italy or something?
No. I don't want to go over there. No.
What about another state?
Well, Alabama.
That's it.
Okay.
Back in northern Georgia, I asked Christine Drinks to sum up.
A lot of people want to be just retired, but they can't. And I know people who are doing some really strenuous jobs, like in the factory, doing things that they haven't done before.
How hard is it on them physically?
They go to work, and when they come home from work, they fix their dinner and they go to bed. And then they're up in the morning doing the same thing all over, 5 days a week.
Drinks consoles one elderly friend in particular.
What does she say to you on the phone when you talk?
She cries a lot.
Crying about the fact that she has to work in a factory?
Yeah, that she's really upset. She's exhausted. So, you know, we talk, and I try to pep her up, and because, honey, I said, you're not the only one. There's a lot of people going through this.
And more every day, it seems, in what's becoming a cliche, an America harder and harder for so many to afford. For the PBS NewsHour, Paul Saltman.
And it was hot. It was so hot. It was like 95, 100 degrees in the shade. The wind never blew.
And they say that New Orleans has humidity down there, which kind of cools us off. That's bullshit. It was death heat.
Inside the convention center was so stifling hot, people tried to stay outside.
Hot as hell, 100-something degrees.
It's hot.
It was very, very hot at that time. It was 97, 98 degrees.
It was hot.
The heat radiating off of the highway at night was intensely hot.
It's hot as hell.
That was the worst summer. I mean, that heat was ridiculous.
Man, hot as heck in here.
It was beyond Africa heat. If Africa heat was anything like that, like I said before, and I'll say it again, they keep saying go back to Africa. Hell no.
As we enter the 4th of July weekend, millions of people in cities such as Dallas, Tampa, and Boston are at risk of getting sick in the heat. Many places will experience what feels like temperatures in the triple digits, and that's especially dangerous for people who have to work outside. A few states have laws to protect those workers. 2 states, Texas and Florida, have banned protections like that. Jessica Mazzaros with WUSF in Tampa joins us now. Jessica, so how does this heat affect workers who just can't escape it?
Farm workers I've spoken to told me they have to wear a lot of gear to protect themselves against the sun and chemicals, so it can feel suffocating. Some can't handle the heat and end up being hospitalized, and they don't get paid while they're out. But there are all kinds of workers exposed to extreme heat. I spoke with a UPS driver here in Tampa, Anthony Cantu. He's used to working in triple-digit temperatures. He has 2 fans in the cab, but no air conditioning.
The extreme temperatures are in the back of the vehicle in the cargo area. There's very little ventilation in the back, and if we're looking for packages, we could be back there for a little bit.
Cantu told me that he's trained not to stay too long in the back of the truck, and UPS has its own heat protocols like access to ice water and brakes. They're even retrofitting some cars with air conditioning.
Well, all right. So how's he staying cool in the meantime?
Well, he actually drinks 1 liter of water every hour, takes electrolyte packets, and he eats hydrating fruits and vegetables. It's basically a lifestyle, but he worries about all the people who aren't as acclimated.
The people up north, I mean, this is just like hitting them right in the face.
Yeah, meteorologists say from the plains to the Appalachians and into the Atlantic and Gulf Coast, these temperatures are well above average by up to 20 degrees in some places, and human-caused climate change is intensifying these heat waves.
So, Jessica, for workers who are in the heat, who can't escape it, I mean, what protections are there to help them stay cool?
Well, there's no national heat standard for workers. Last year, the Federal Occupational Safety and Health Administration held public hearings on a proposed rule to protect indoor and outdoor workers from heat. In a written statement to NPR, OSHA says the rulemaking process is ongoing. So some states have actually been trying to regulate heat safety. Only a handful of them do have protections, including Oregon, Minnesota, and California. Some laws protect just indoor workers, while others cover both indoor and outdoor. Generally, employers have to provide cool drinking water, shade, and training in some cases.
And then there are some states banning those kind of protections altogether.
Texas was first to ban mandated safeguards like water and rest breaks back in 2023, and Florida followed suit the next year, blocking local governments from creating regulations. So business interests in Miami said the regulations would cripple the construction and agriculture industries there.
All right, it sounds like proposed federal heat protection rules are ways off. So the heat is here regardless, so what else is being done?
Yeah, so OSHA regulations haven't moved forward in about a year. Neither has legislation introduced around the same time in Congress. It asked the Department of Labor to make an occupational safety and health standard to protect these workers from the heat. But recent analysis has shown these kind of regulations can really help to lower the risk of heat-related injuries, workers' comp claims, and even deaths on the job.
That is Jessica Mazzaros with member station WUSF in Tampa. Jessica, thanks.
Thank you.
Another day, another big tech layoff. Microsoft has become the latest tech giant to announce massive layoffs. In its new announcement, it has said it will let go 4,800 workers. 2026 is already being dubbed as a year of layoffs. According to a data tracker, there have been 435 layoffs at tech companies this year. This has impacted over 164,000 people across the world. That accounts to 874 people per day. Yes, 874 people are being fired every day in 2026. Now, Microsoft's announcement impacts over 2% of its workforce. With around 220,000 employees worldwide, that translates to thousands of job losses. The company said a large share of the job cuts would impact its Xbox department, which oversees the company's popular video game console. The cuts would also impact other divisions, including commercial sales. This is the company's third major round of job cuts in just over a year. Last year, in 2025, the tech giant eliminated 6,000 roles in May. And later that year, in July, it had another round of layoffs that impacted 9,000 employees. Microsoft said it would continue looking for ways to avoid layoffs wherever possible and would keep investing in employee training, including AI skills. The company has also cautioned employees that further restructuring will continue. In a public memo, Microsoft attributed the current layoffs to the shakeup in the tech sector due to artificial intelligence.
Our business is changing because the world around it is changing. The way technology is built, deployed, and used is transforming faster than at any point. Some of the tasks we do every day can now be automated, and that means we all need to keep learning, keep building new skills, and keep adapting as the work evolves.
Just last year, the firm announced a $17.5 billion investment in India for AI. They were building on an earlier $3 billion commitment made in January 2025. Microsoft is simultaneously spending aggressively on AI infrastructure, cloud computing, and next-generation data centers to support products such as Copilot and its partnership with OpenAI. And Microsoft is not alone. In recent times, other companies including Meta, Amazon, and Google have rapidly expanded their AI footprint. And this has resulted in mass layoffs. At Amazon, over 30,000 employees lost their jobs since last October. At Meta, the job loss count stands at around 8,000. This after CEO Mark Zuckerberg said AI-led job losses are not inevitable and that better efficiency and balance could instead lead to job creation. Oracle cut down 30,000 jobs. Meanwhile, companies like Cloudflare and PayPal have also cut many jobs. The message is clear. Companies are redeploying resources towards AI development and infrastructure. The AI boom is reshaping the tech industry, but for thousands of workers, it is also reshaping their careers. As companies race to adapt, employees will have to do the same.
Fired director alleges white privilege and racism in Pierce County leadership. Becca Most. Shortly after Pierce County Human Services, Director Gary Gant was fired after less than a year on the job. Gant filed a claim with the county alleging he was discriminated against by executive leadership for being black. In a claim filed with Pierce County Risk Management on June 26, Gant wrote that leaders, including Executive Ryan Mello, Deputy Executive/Chief Operating Officer Scott Nicholson, and Executive Counsel Julie Murray, who stepped into the interim Human Services Director role following Gant's termination in April, created a hostile work environment and treated me differently from other leaders who were not black. Leaders who were not black males were shown professionalism and deference, while my work was micromanaged and my authority to make major decisions were undermined, Gant wrote. The claim is a precursor to a possible lawsuit against the county. Gant is requesting economic and non-economic losses to include past and future wage losses, damage to reputation, and pain and suffering, all in an amount to be decided by the jury, per the claim. Gant said he has suffered the usual and ordinary injury associated with violating my civil rights and Washington law against discrimination. In a statement sent to the News Tribune Thursday, County spokesperson Kari Plog said, "Vulnerable people in our community rely on our Human Services Department, and its work is vital to their health and well-being. They need human services to function at a high level, and county taxpayers expect that too. At Pierce County, we hold all of our employees to high standards for the quality and completeness of work, especially department directors who are charged with making progress on the county's most pressing issues." During Mr. Gant's tenure, several issues arose, prompting the county to end his at-will employment. As previously reported by the News Tribune, Nicholson sent emails to Gant in March indicating officials were unsatisfied with Gant's job performance, particularly by not ensuring that information and analysis provided to the executive's office is accurate, complete, and decision-ready. It isn't the first time a black leader has accused the Pierce County Executive Office of discrimination. Pierce County paid $1 million to former Pierce County Court Clerk Constance White in May 2025 after she alleged her authority was undermined, and she wasn't treated respectfully in the workplace under prior executive Bruce Dammere. Attorney Joan Mell represented White, and she represents Gant in this case. Mell has frequently represented public employees in Pierce County in lawsuits against local governments, and most recently attempted to represent Sheriff Keith Swank in his public conflicts with Mello and prosecutor Mary Robnett. What did Gant's complaint say? In the complaint, Gant alleged county leaders were professional and deferential to the white managers and directors, while micromanaging my work, questioning my competence, and undermining my authority and capacity to make major departmental decisions, noting also, "They used the office dysfunction present before I was hired to judge my performance. White colleagues have not suffered the same scrutiny, corrective action, or termination for problems that existed before they assumed their roles," Gant wrote. On my first day in the role, the general counsel yelled at me and stated that I needed to resolve the issues in human services. I was shocked by the general counsel's tone, demeanor, and apparent lack of respect for my title and role. This initial interaction left me feeling demeaned, disrespected, and unwelcome as I began my new role as director. In his time with the department, Gant said, Mello's team asked him to fill the role of executive sponsor for the Black Employee Resource Group, but never asked me to sponsor or take the lead role in other non-race-based initiatives or goals, saying he was also encouraged to network on behalf of the county with Black providers like the Rise Center and with Black members of associated ministries. I felt that my ability to make independent decisions for my department was being thwarted by executive leadership because of paternalistic attitudes and racial bias toward me as a Black male in a leadership position, Gant wrote. In several cases, Gant said, Nicholson lashed out and yelled at some of his direct reports in front of others. In my nearly 40-year professional career, I had never experienced a situation in which my supervisor disregarded the chain of command by reprimanding one of my direct reports, whether in my presence or absence. I felt humiliated, demeaned, disrespected, and unseen, Gant wrote. In one case involving a Black staffer who reported to him, Gant said, "The incident felt like a planned public humiliation of a Black male manager and his Black male director in front of a largely white audience. When I left the meeting, I had to suppress my anguish, hurt, and disbelief." I had never witnessed such an overt display of white privilege and racism in a workplace setting, nor the apparent acceptance by the attendees of what had occurred, Gant wrote. As these events unfolded in my work environment, my stress and despair increased to the point that I consulted with my primary care provider. Gant said he was shocked to receive a memorandum of expectations, MOE, regarding his performance in March 2026, believing it was unwarranted and unfair given my brief tenure in the position, and his active involvement with his team as it worked through new processes under a new administration. In my view, the MOE was unwarranted and was used as a tool to intimidate me and signal that my position was in jeopardy, despite the executive team's stated commitment to allow me to realign the department for effectiveness and efficiency and to support my success as a leader, he wrote. I believe this action was retaliation against me for asserting my authority as director in an environment where, as a black man, I was expected to remain silent and compliant with an administration that I experienced as unjust and racist at its core. This story was originally published July 5th.
It's okay. See, the code doesn't say nothing against somebody going into business. That's, going into business is just going into business. That's all.
In the latest move to curb violence in the Highlands, the state says one bar will not get back its liquor license.
But as WDRB's Addie Shaney explains, multiple bar owners claim they are being targeted.
Baxter's 942 in the Highlands has been temporarily closed for almost 2 years after ABC revoked its liquor license. Now it says what's happening to Atomic feels like the same playbook. ABC said it denied Baxter's renewal after what it calls a series of violent incidents associated with the establishment, including 2 shootings nearby.
Somebody yelled out, "There's somebody shooting." So instantly, I just jumped to the ground.
Baxter's 942 owner Kevin Stranaka says the shooters were not his customers.
Shootings basically were down the block. I cannot help what's going on down the street. And even on top of that, we had 2 and sometimes 3 off-duty police.
He's spent nearly the last 2 years appealing the decision. Most recently, the state upheld it.
There is a racist issue in the Highlands. When I look back at the appeal process, racism was, how can I say this, was delicately handled. Let me say that. Kind of danced around.
Other bar owners echoed that same frustration after ABC suspended Atomic's liquor license last month following a shooting. ABC said Atomic mishandled the altercation that started inside their building, leading to a shooting incident in a public space.
Safety cannot be at a minimum level, and we won't tolerate anything less.
Atomic disputes ABC's account, saying the shooter wasn't their customer and that the shooting happened off their property. In a statement, Atomic also alleges racism is driving closures and claims an unnamed high-ranking city official told the owner you should open a bar in the West End to get black people out of the Highlands. Another bar, Highlands Tap Room, also released a statement saying the mayor is looking for a scapegoat and claiming it's faced pressure to change the music to attract a different clientele, white. I asked the city about the racism allegations. They didn't address them directly, instead pointing to prior statements. ABC said the license renewal process is a tool to address public safety concerns. Baxter says it will appeal that decision in circuit court. Addie Shaney, WDRB News.
Jack Fry's pushed back against a petition that would limit alcohol sales in the Highlands. The iconic restaurant penned a letter saying the proposed restriction could threaten their ability to stay in business. Months of weekend shootings and street takeovers pushed neighbors to petition for a vote restricting alcohol sales. It would require businesses to generate most of their revenue from food, not alcohol. Supporters want a 70-30 split, 70% from food, no more than 30% from alcohol. Each precinct needs signatures from 25% of its voters by August 11th to make the November ballot.
In a parking lot.
Police say 26-year-old Larry Hines called 911 after the shooting and told dispatchers he was involved. He's now charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Fox 4's Amelia Jones has more on this entire investigation so far. Amelia.
Steve, Heather, Arlington police say officers found a firearm inside 26-year-old Larry Hines' apartment. They also shared Hines and the victim knew each other. They both worked the overnight shift at the GM plant and were leaving work when the shooting happened. An Arlington police squad car remains parked out front of the General Motors assembly plant in Arlington after a shooting Tuesday morning. Around 6:30 a.m., Arlington police say 2 employees leaving the overnight shift got into a verbal argument that escalated when one pulled out a gun and fired multiple times. A 24-year-old man was taken to the hospital in critical condition.
While we were out there responding and working to get him to the hospital, we received a 911 call from a man who told dispatchers that he had been involved in the shooting, and he was calling from a different location, an apartment complex that's not too far from the scene.
26-year-old Larry Hines was arrested at his apartment on Viridian Village Drive and is currently charged with 1 count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Police say officers found a firearm when they searched Hines' apartment, and ballistics testing is underway. GM is cooperating with police in the investigation.
They provided evidence that was very crucial in this case. When we arrived on scene, there were actually, I guess they have some type of medical staff there on scene who were already tending to the victim by the time first responders got there. So that no doubt was a big help as well.
Police did not reveal the nature of the argument that led to the gunfire. Due to the severity of his injuries, Arlington police investigators have not spoken with the victim yet. Detectives are still interviewing witnesses.
That's something our detectives are still in the process of doing, is making sure that they've talked to everybody who may have been in the area or identified everybody that might have any information that they could use.
The victim's name has not been shared. Arlington police say he is stable but remains in critical condition. Hines will be booked into the Tarrant County Jail.
Store employee faces murder, attempted murder charges after Southside Market shooting. By Jen Griffey. Natchez police have arrested an employee of Southside Market and charged him with the shooting that took place inside the grocery store Sunday evening. Jamian Miles, 23, faces 1 count of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. One of the 3 gunshot victims, Kenrick Wembley, 28, died from his injuries at the hospital. 2 others, Philip Bradley, age unknown, and Kaylin Wembley, 30, were flown to other medical centers for treatment. Their conditions are unknown at this time. Natchez Police Chief Lee Best said his officers, along with deputies from the Adams County Sheriff's Office, responded to a call of shots fired at Southside Market, 31 Sergeant S. Prentice Drive, at approximately 7 p.m. Sunday. When officers arrived, they found a gunshot victim inside near the front of the store and quickly learned 2 additional gunshot victims had been taken by private vehicle to Merit Health Natchez, Best said. An ambulance was called for the victim found inside the store. Best said officers made a sweep of the store and located Jamian Miles, 23, a store employee, hiding in a bathroom. Police recovered the handgun used in the shooting. Best said Miles told investigators he had an encounter with a group of men inside the store while they were checking out. Miles told investigators he walked by the men while collecting shopping carts and had a verbal exchange. Best said Miles was physically assaulted and retaliated by pulling the pistol from his waistband and shooting 3 of the men. He said family of the victims have been notified. As a result of the investigation, Miles has been charged with murder and 2 counts of attempted murder, Best said. He thanked the responding officers and the Adams County Sheriff's Office for the swift response and assistance during this investigation. This type of senseless violence has a ripple effect that changes the lives of the victims, their families, and the entire community, Best said.
We think they definitely need to find a way to take some responsibility for the situation now, moving forward.
The family of a Five Below employee gunned down at a store in the Northwest Valley are demanding accountability from the company. Now, the accused shooter, David Nathaniel Vasquez, remains on the run more than 2 weeks after the incident. 8 News Now reporter Joshua Peguero talks with the victim's family, who are still seeking justice.
Brandon Lucas's family says he'd only been working at the Five Below store near Lake Mead and Rainbow for 4 or 5 months when his life was tragically taken away.
That's, obviously one of the worst parts of the situation is to know that in so many ways it could have been avoided.
Shakira Wright is Lucas's cousin. and she's speaking on behalf of his mother, who says she's too distraught to talk in front of a camera. Lucas was her oldest of 2 boys.
We loved him. We loved him and we miss him.
Lucas was gunned down on June 17th while at work. 911 calls we obtained reveal a chaotic scene.
I was just shopping, then this guy came in and started arguing with an employee, and now he's shot on the floor. We need somebody to come and help.
What happened to him?
He got shot. He is shot.
Metro identified the shooter as 19-year-old David Nathaniel Vasquez. Police say Vasquez's 17-year-old girlfriend worked with the 31-year-old Lucas at Five Below. The couple argued over text messages Lucas and the teen sent each other, with the girl telling police the messages were flirtatious. Police say Vasquez FaceTimed his girlfriend and had her share her screen, where he saw Lucas's work schedule. Vasquez then reportedly went to Five Below, armed, and started a fight with Lucas.
There just could have been so many other parameters put in place to stop that from happening.
Lucas's family says Five Below failed to protect him.
Well, obviously having like security implemented in the store would have avoided this situation, but also maybe having some more clear direction with the employees on what information is allowed to be shared versus what not.
A funeral service was held last week for Lucas, and another is being held this week in Detroit, where he grew up. Joshua Piguero, 8 News Now.
The Five Below store near Lake Mead and Rainbow does remain closed. Records show David Nathaniel Vasquez is facing charges of open murder, discharging a gun within a structure, and carrying a concealed weapon without a permit.
Context of white supremacy. Text messages. Text messages. The worthless Negro from Virginia who does not play on his phone sending text messages. Gus T. in for another broadcast, hopefully to share constructive information on the global system of white supremacy. Today's date, Thursday, July 9, 2026, so I have been told. In for our weekly broadcast every Thursday, Neutralizing Workplace Racism Not for Spectators, particularly if you have figured out how to survive your shift without being shot at by one of your employees or a random civilian, maybe a relative of one of your coworkers, spouse, care mate, whatever. Hey, I think I kind of got this thing together. I do my shift. I go in. I don't have no heat strokes. I don't pass out from heat exhaustion, dehydration. I don't send no flirtatious texts to nobody I work with. I don't dodge no bullets. I don't talk no sass or trash. I come home. I got all my fingers, all my toes. Ain't nobody snatched a bald spot in my head. I ain't got no bullet holes in my blouse or jacket. Don't even need a Band-Aid. Think I'm going to be safe for Friday, too. If you have figured that part out, and then, hey, I get all my raises, I get all my promotions. If I'm a Negro entrepreneur, I don't lose no sleep about them saying they're going to cancel my liquor license. I don't lose no sleep. Man, they're going to ruin my whole enterprise. I'm counting my money. How much better we going to do in this fiscal year compared to last year? That's what I'm doing. Record sales. That's what I'm doing. Counting my money. Hiring more black people. That's what I'm doing. If you figure that out, don't you be no spectator. Put us on speed dial. The number 720-716-7300. The code 564943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. If you have figured out how to minimize conflict with black coworkers, Jesus Christ, tell Gus T, shut the hell up, and dial in immediately, and I will shut the hell up. If you have figured out, hey, this works, you will. What Walter Beach III tell us, you can cut it at the knees. You will stop any sort of foolishness with black people, non-white people, victims of racism, particularly if they classified as black. Shut all that down. Ain't gonna have no argument and turn into a wrestling match and, he done tried to DDT me out on the work floor and I got to go shoot him. We're not gonna get to the first crossword, no name calling, none of you figured out. This is how you make sure no conflict with your black coworkers. Make sure, give us a few tips. That is sorely needed. The number again, 720-716-7300. The code 564943#. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. The email, untiljustice@gmail.com. untiljustice@gmail.com. I will let folks know. Gus T I'm not very artistic, can barely draw a straight line, but technology is amazing, evolving by the second. I've been able to generate several pretty spiffy pieces of graphic art that are all about workplace racism, workplace safety. We have one for safety if you work in people's residence and they might have a pit bull dog of some sort, how to keep yourself safe and ungnawed on as you hopefully go in quickly, do this work and exit the property unchewed. We got one for that I think is great. It succinctly goes over all the steps that I think we reviewed last week. We had several reports of black people being terrorized in the workplace, and even civilians too who were not at work. We got one for just violence in the workplace in general and minimizing conflict, and then one specifically about, is your coworker armed? I keep saying that, and we keep getting reports, brand new, fresh reports every week. Armed coworkers, sometimes they're shooting patrons, sometimes they're shooting other coworkers, just depends. That is a substantial, particularly if it's more guns and more people are upset and it's a hot summer, might be one you want to take a gander at. Shared it on all the social media sites. Until Justice, that's on so-called X. You can find us on the Facebook groups and all the rest of it, but graphics might be helpful. You can share them with other non-white people just so they can have some tips and things to be cognizant of in the workplace. What's that bulge? Or even, hey, you can ask, are we allowed, coworkers, employees allowed to be armed in the workplace? Oh, want to know that? That would alter my workplace conduct mightily. And then you can observe, do they have a bulge? Are they always bringing in big backpack and that sort of thing? Are they talking about guns and ammo all the time? I mean, be a lot of things. We're like, person might be armed. Like, man, that would alter my conduct in the workplace. Maybe not for you. Maybe you're the one that's armed, but that would at least be information I'd want to know. That's it. The reports that we heard at the beginning. Number one, about the cost of living being so high that some of the older folks are having to unretire and return to the workplace. Now, Gus T did not enjoy that report because that is kind of disrupting my theory. Hey, if we're going to have this so-called silver tsunami of whites retiring and or just aging out, even if they're not trying to retire. Trump isn't trying to retire per se, but I mean, he is not a spring chicken. hard to see him still being in the workforce 10 years from now. Some might even say a year from now. But certainly, I don't think he's going to be holding a job in 10 years. So you have a lot of whites who are reaching that. You're going to have to sit down. Try to get some of those jobs. But this is kind of messing that up. If they are making it so it's so expensive that they're going to literally have to work until they drop. Like, oh, man. Hopefully, that will not be so bad that it will disrupt one of my suggestions. But even within that PBS report where they're going to talk to some of these older folks who are returning to the workplace, they started that report. That was PBS, so they have the audio and the video. That was Christine Drinks, D-R-I-N-K-S, like beverage. That was a black female that they started that report with, and I thought that right there tells you something about, now, who is this going to have a greater impact on in terms of older folks in particular thinking, hey, what they call it, these are my golden years, and I did all that. I saved and scrimped and was frugal and all the rest of it, so now I can retire, put my feet up, play with my grandchildren, garden, be Neely Fuller Jr., write my memoir on racism, all that good stuff. Now I got to go back to and do grueling work too, at the factory and all this old stuff. Christine Drinks, black female. That's where they started with. Undid like it ain't no, I think she's kind of light-skinned. You might have messed. Nah. Black female, victim of white supremacy. That's who they started with. And then the next person that they talked to, Myrna Colombo. Now, I don't think she's classified as black, but I could be totally wrong. I do think she is non-white, Miss Colombo. She looks like she has way too much color. I mean, maybe that's what they call it, summer color. It is July, so maybe she, just got a tan. She's been working, right? Maybe she got a tan and all that, but man, she looked way too melanated to be a white person. Way too melanated. I think she's non-white, victim of white supremacy, and it seemed like they talked to and spoke with a number of other non-white people in the segment. Now, they did show and talk to some white people as well. They would have to. But, man, it seemed like a lot of dark, older people, not all of them classified as black, but non-white, having to go back into the workforce. And as they said, for grueling jobs. And even importantly, they brought Christine Drinks back into the report at the end. She was the one who was talking about, oh man, I have my friends and they just cry. She goes to work 5 days at the factory and it's all grueling, and she just goes to work, come home, she's so tired, she just cooks a meal, cries, I guess, and goes to bed. That was Christine Drinks. Now, knowing what we know about white people and black friends, other than Michelle Alexander, lying high yellow wench, other than Michelle Alexander, I don't know too many black people who got lots of white friends, particularly white friends who call them to whimper and cry for support. Now, maybe Christine Drinks, maybe she like Michelle. She got white friends too. But I'm going to guess that was probably Christine Drinks' black friend, victim of racism. I could be totally wrong. I don't have any visual evidence to support that. The next segment was on the impact of heat in the workplace. Now, again, Gus T is in Seattle. The temperature today, 76 degrees Fahrenheit, 24 degrees Celsius, unless I've been misinformed. Not exactly desert extreme heat. I don't think you would die, even if you don't have air conditioning. I don't exactly think you would die. 76 degrees. And dropping, I might add. I think that's the high for the day as well, 76. High, not 76, and it was 98 or something like that. That was peak temperature today in Seattle, 7, and that's to be expected. That is exactly 1 degree off from the average temperature in Seattle during the summer. So it is exactly what it should be for these parts. But that's it. I am very aware that other places, it is not a, neutral, even, calm 76, that other places are suffering with potentially dangerous heat, even other places around the world. I cannot stress enough for Non-white people, drink your water. Maybe even try and avoid those sodas and all that stuff, because all that just dehydrates you. Like all that sugar and such, you want to be drinking water, not all those sugary concoctions. Water, water, water. And even maybe eating some of your hydration. It's summertime. Get some watermelon. I had watermelon today, had watermelon earlier this week. I didn't get the fancy orange and yellow, but still very hydrating. Even grapes, very hydrating. Get those fluids back in your body from all that sweating and moving around so that you can be healthy, safe if you are out there. No alcohol for sure. That's another one that will dehydrate you. Try and get to the shade. And even, I've said for years, it may be in the summertime and where places where they have all those extreme heat events, the black self-respect, your act of counter-racism may be, especially if you're in a place like Texas, Florida, where they say we're getting rid of these heat protections. Hey, we might die. We're going to need some ice water, break, something to compensate. We might die. And that's another one where I totally understand where people might say my hours and all of that. And I mean, hey, you can die from, they're saying triple digit heat. It's 76 here. Add 25 degrees to that. And you got to be walking around or running around all day long. Maybe you have AC, maybe you don't. You could die massively. And they report that especially with these extreme weather events, people do die and get sick, and disproportionately non-white people. If you get sick, man, even if you don't die, you have to go to the hospital because you got dehydrated or closing in on a heat stroke, something of that nature. Man, that's not just missed wages, which would be the case if you have to come off the clock to go to the hospital. You know they're not going to keep you on the clock for that, so you're going to miss hours. And then hospital bill. You have to do all that fussing and griping for workers' comp and all. Man, the black self-respect might be speaking up to avoid all that in advance, and then making sure you do everything that you can, drinking water and all the rest of it, not consuming alcohol, sugar, and all that. Get that watermelon in, shade, even appropriate clothing and all the rest of it. Do take appropriate steps to protect yourself if you're in one of those extreme heat environments, and even making sure that your employer is doing as much as they can to protect their workers. I told you all I went to that seminar at the University of Washington last year. Bharat Venkat, Venkat, he's a professor at UCLA. He came, he's non-white, obviously. He came here last year, and he did a whole talk, Can the Subaltern Sweat? Race, Climate Change, and Inequality. And he was talking about this exactly, where there's going to be more extreme heat events, and even insurance companies, because, hey, if they say, well, Texas and Florida, places like that, we're not going to do no heat protections. Get out there and work. This will mess up us being able to get our oranges, mess up us being able to get our cotton or whatever else, crops and such that we need on the plantation. Well, you might have 5 workers die going out there in 105-degree heat. They say, hey, might get to a point. I think he did say it's already getting to a point in some places where, hey, we just pay the plantation owner or the employer, we pay them and say, well, you might lose some crops today because it's 105 degrees, so we'll just pay you. And then we'll pay the workers their wages because it would be cheaper as opposed to having to pay for them dying out picking the cotton or strawberries or delivering Amazon, and they don't have no AC because that was in the report, and then have to pay their family and all this because they done died out here. It'd be easier to just pay them their wages, pay you for your lost labor goods for that day, and call it a wrap. Until we get there, black self-respect is do all that you can to not die on the job. You're definitely not going to be able to cash your check if you die or have to go to the hospital because you're dehydrated. The second, that is so plantational for Texas and Florida specifically. We ain't going to have no heat protections here in 2 of the states where it gets most when warm year-round. Let's see. The section on Gary Gant, privileged black male, that is right here in my beloved Washington State. That is a little bit like a tick south. Pierce County, it's like Tacoma, Puyallup, what else is that? Spanaway, yep. Graham. Give your geography lesson for south, or not south, but south of Seattle, Washington State. But that's that whole area. Mr. Gant saying that they did not respect his black male authority, even saying specifically that those who were not black males did not have their authority undermined. Whoa. Now, I would love to know the demographics of that work environment, particularly for this region, Pierce County. I would suspect they do have a number of black people. It's not like it's no black people in like some of the regions that Tacoma. It's black people in Tacoma. So I'd be curious as to how many black people were co-workers with Mr. Gant while he worked for Pierce County. But man, so the other non-white, non-black people, they didn't have all these problems? Fascinating. He says that they didn't respect his title, Mr. Gant, that he said he had been working for many years, decades, and that, he's got his resume, and I'm accomplished, I'm competent, and he said he was shocked that they didn't respect. Mr. Fuller told us, I can only say again, one, non-white people, we are not experts on racism. That includes Gus T. Still learning. That's why I do the program. That's why we do the research to hear reports like this and all the rest. More importantly, Fuller told us, hey, let's not be surprised about white people practicing racism. Even the great Chris Rock said that. Can't be surprised about a white person practicing racism. And particularly on the job. I don't care if you graduated from Harvard, Oxford, Yale, Stanford, Phi Beta Kappa, valedictorian. You're a Negro, PhDs, Negro. You can't be shocked or surprised about that at all. Now, maybe that's true. He said he hadn't experienced this before. That might be. Maybe he has had, just a blessed, highly fortunate career, where he was able to go years without encountering that sort of flagrant racism. Just because that might be you should not think that couldn't happen to me or even be shocked when it does. The thinking should be, oh, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. I've been fortunate, but oh, yeah, that bill is going to come due unless I get to retire early. And even then, they might get me and try and make me unretire. So, hey, system of white supremacy. We just have to keep going, try and replace it with justice. But really work to not be in that mind frame of, oh my goodness, I am shocked that they practice race, and especially at work. Like, come on. We can't be shocked about that. And even that's why I say, make sure research. Has this happened at this organization before? Because in this case, they reported, yes, this was the News Tribune out here in Washington State. But they said that this had happened previously. Constance White, the Pierce County Council, unanimously approved a $1 million settlement payout in May 2025, just over a year ago. Constance White, an African-American female who took office in December 2021, initially filed a legal claim seeking $5.5 million. Her formal complaints against the county stated her authority was undermined. Oh, so they got a pattern of this with black employees. She alleged that she was not permitted to lead and that county staff were actively encouraged to disrespect her and undermine her leadership. I would want to know that if I'm classified as black, really, before I accept this job. And that might even be one, if I read this report and I haven't done my interview yet, oh man, that might be one that I think about asking a question about this before I take the job in the interview. One, just to show that I did research the company, and then two, this is a serious allegation. Has this problem been addressed to make sure that no other non-white employees feel that they're being deliberately undermined for reasons of racism? Has this been adequately addressed? I don't want to walk into an environment where I'm going to encounter the same problem. $1 million payout means, wow, y'all weren't even willing to fight this. We'll just give her $1 million. I didn't even continue. Let me finish. I didn't even get to the most important parts of it. Continuing, this is Miss White. She faced systemic marginalization. I think they mean white supremacy racism. White stated that she was constantly ignored, marginalized, and isolated by the county executive's office. The workplace was unsafe. She alleged that she was threatened and denied the necessary structural support, creating an overall toxic and hostile work environment. Whoa, that's another one. I definitely want to know that, and particularly if that's a part of a settlement where you all paid out $1 million and she's alleging that she was threatened. What kind of, see, that's one I would want to get the suit so that I could read. What were the charges? What were the threats? Was it threats of violence? Was this another? I'll shoot you. I'll kill you. I'll crack your skull, you black hussy. What exactly did they say? What were the threats? That's one you want. Even if it was violent, was there a police report with all of this? If they were making, because I said, hey, once they start making violent threats of any, what did I just say about the gun? That's on the graphic image. In fact, do they have a firearm? Washington State is gun nut country. They got artwork, bumper stickers, and all these old decals and things of coffee and guns. Woo! We love it because, Starbucks is, out here and everything. Coffee, guns, woo! Are they once threatening and all that? What was the threat? What did you say? Date, time, write all that down. And if I'm a black person, that's why I've said for years, research the company. Have there been charges with the black people? Oh my God, I was threatened 15 times while I worked there. What? You want to know all of that. And that, I think even Blake Griffin said before he began working for the LA Clippers, he went and got the lawsuit, the court documents for the suit on Donald Sterling, where he was found guilty of practicing racism in the properties that he owned and how he treated the black renters on his properties. He said he went and read that before he began his tenure working for the LA Clippers. He said that document is fascinating. That A+. That's what you do, in my opinion. That's what you do. Area of labor, and you want counter-racist scientists before I even start working. It doesn't mean if you find anything and you read the report, you don't take the job. That's not what Blake Griffin did. He was employed with the Clippers for, I think, a good decade, made his millions of dollars, but he did not go into it ignorant. I know who this Donald Sterling is. In fact, they interviewed him when everything broke, when they got the recording and all. They said, oh, no, I knew all this from day one. As soon as the Clippers, with the whatever pick in the draft, Oklahoma, Blake Griffin, that's Blake Griffin and Neely Fuller Jr., Oklahoma. He said, yeah, I went and got that court document and me like, whoa, this Donald Sterling, because and that one won't no pussy for them. They just said he practiced racism against these tenants. Period. Any hoodles, research the organization, and you can even ponder if you want to. It might be one of those just being 100% in terms of counter-racist logic. Yes, that might be. If you ask a question, have you all done anything? I see you all have this settlement with this constant white, and it's so recent, it's just last year. I mean, dang, has anything been done to address these allegations of racism and threatening and a hostile work environment to make sure that none of these charges resurface? Absolutely. A black person or a non-white person asking a question like that, I think we talked about it before, what they say, this job offer has been rescinded. That might be something to consider, but I also, hey, it was just a year ago. Jesus Christ, I might have seen the news. And that might be important, especially if we're going to end up in the exact same position with the exact same allegations 6 months into my tenure with this organization. Maybe that is a question to ask before you even take the job. Might even catch them by surprise where they do some stuttering and have to give you the truth on the spot because they weren't prepared to give you a lie. They didn't think you were going to ask such a question. One to think on. When they said with Mr. Gamble, they said that he experienced planned humiliation. Called it white privilege. Now I think that is totally incorrect usage of terms, that it is not a privilege to publicly humiliate someone. That is an act of racism. That's what it should be called, not so-called privilege. Like, I don't even know. That is not logical. It makes zero sense to me to even process that as it is a privilege to be able to publicly humiliate you. No, that is an act of white supremacy, racism, and mistreatment. We are creating, as they said, a hostile and unsafe work environment that even compromised his health and well-being. He said he had to go and speak to his primary care provider. That's how you get all that hypertension and depression and anxiety and insomnia, and I done gained 50 pounds or I done lost 50 pounds. I get to come home and abuse my children or don't talk to them or start drinking the Mad Dog or whatever it is. All of that. I say A+ for going to see his care provider because they can contribute constructively to his lawsuit and talking about the health impact of all of this, and if it impacted his weight, impacted his sleep, what he's been what he's been reporting about his symptoms since all of this happened. A+, maybe even increase his reward amount if that should happen. And then we had a parade of violence in the workplace. Bunches of different reports from all over, or even before we get to the violence, they had the report from Kentucky. Shout out to Muhammad Ali. The two, what shall we call them, bars, places where they have liquor for sale, Atomics, and then Baxter's 942 in Highlands, Kentucky. Now, these are both black-owned establishments. I've said for years, even if you are classified as black and you say, hey, I'm not going to go and work for the man, Bill Gates is not going to lay me off, hey, no problem. You can go into business for yourself. That does not immunize you, inoculate you from the system of white supremacy. Not at all. It just means you're going to have a different battle with the system of white supremacy, racism, a la, hey, they trying to take my liquor license. You can't do that. Hey, Fuller said, we grab you, throw you, and your little raggedy establishment. I'm not saying that Atomics or Baxter's 942 is raggedy. I'm just saying within the context of white supremacy, racism, if you're non-white means raggedy. So we grab you and your raggedy establishment and throw all that overboard. Absolutely. And there's so much of this on the record. Now, what they were saying, hey, they're unruly. It's crime. And I've seen this before where they'll say it's crime, even if the incidents are happening blocks away, whatever. They'll say, hey, you served them the alcohol and you didn't handle it properly. You should have reported to the authorities, or you should have stopped serving them, or whatever. This is on you. And even they included you got the wrong type of music. See, you're playing all that bumpity bump and attracting all these niggers that come in here and do all the bang bang and shooting them. But we're tired of it. We're not going to give you no more. You ain't going to serve no more Mad Dog. Now, I thought white people listen to a whole lot of the old bumpity bump. I don't know what. And so you're supposed to play more Taylor Swift? I don't know. what were we supposed to play? What correct sounds are we supposed to play that would allow us to keep serving the Mad Dog? And then they even said, we want to do a ratio where you can't have all these sales from liquor. You got to sell some chicken nuggets or Big Macs or chicken wings or something. You can't just go in there and dump tequila and Hennessy and Mad Dog on everybody and get all your profits from that. And I said, man, the NFL, would they survive? You think NFL on Sundays that they generate most of their revenue from food, not liquor? I know the tickets, that's the big one, but I think they push a lot of liquor at the ball games. I could be in error. I even was wondering about a number of stats. I mean, I don't know. Seattle has a lot of bars. Milwaukee, I was there. They got a lot of bars. I bet many of these establishments, it ain't no 30 to 70 ratio in terms of 30% alcohol and then 70% non-liquor products. Like, But hey, white people make the rule. I'm sure in Highlands, Kentucky, it's not Muhammad Ali's kith and kin sitting on the board making the decision about whether or not Baxter's 942 and Atomics, whether they're going to be allowed to serve Mad Dog. I'm pretty sure that's not what it is. I could be in error. I have not been to Kentucky in a very long time. And then now we got the parade of violence. Larry Hines, 26-year-old privileged black male. I do want to highlight with many of these shootings, not all, but many of these shootings, the shooters have been very young. The Wilmington, Delaware hospital shooting, the shooter was 19. 20s. Larry Hines is 26. I mean, just, man, your brain computer isn't developed. What are you doing with a then got a firearm? What did you say to me? This isn't Mortal Kombat. This isn't a lot of this stuff. What did you say to me? Negro. Because it ain't, I'm going to get an attitude and pull my pistol out with a white person. It's been a lot of young black people. I will shoot a black person in a heartbeat. In or over nothing. Onion rings, hamburger bun, slice of pizza. All of these are cases that have happened in the last year where a black person was killed over hamburger buns, pizza, onion rings. Now, you looked at me funny. What did you say? What did you call me? Who do you think? Nothing. And pow, pow. That, again now, are we allowed to have firearms? That would be a massive, maybe even more important. Have you all done anything to address the risk? Are employees allowed to be armed? Not that, I'm saying if it's an environment where there's no firearms are allowed, I'm not saying that means, oh boy, woo, I'm going to tell you niggers a thing or two. I didn't say that at all, but woo. Hey, oh yeah, you got your concealed carry permit or whatever, I'm armed myself right now. Thank you for telling me that. I would greatly adjust my code. You thought it was quiet before. We're going to be very quiet now. And super alert about people looking like they're angry, voice raised. I got some hostilities with you or anybody else. Like, oh man, like all of that. Like, I don't do no back and forths. I don't do no hanging outs. It is work. That's all we're talking. I don't talk about no sports. I don't politics. Are you serious? I don't discuss politics in the workplace. Come on, man. This is your black brother. I don't discuss politics in the workplace. For real, you ain't gonna say nothing about that? I got to go to the bathroom. I've been eating a whole lot of watermelon today. I'm gonna talk to you later, Willie. Quiet. I'm going to even add, Because I checked. Larry Hines, 26-year-old privileged black male. He shot black people, said that they had some sort of, he knew these folks and they had an altercation, and I thought it might be trouble and I had to get them. They didn't even kill anybody, but he shot black people. The temperature in Arlington, Texas today is 96 degrees Fahrenheit. It allegedly feels like it is 100 degrees Fahrenheit because the humidity is 36%. They have lots of data going back decades that temperature goes up. Boop, 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 boop. People have, one, we just heard the report this past weekend that temperature goes up, more young people have mental health crises, and then that temperature goes up, you're going to have more conflict. I've been saying for some months now, it seems like everybody, white people and non-white people, everyone leaves the house looking for conflict with black people. If that is true, days where it's hot, minimize contact and drink your fluids. I suspect, I don't know the details, but I suspect the incident at the Arlington facility that just happened this week, still going over the details. I don't know if that was text messages, but I suspect whatever they were talking about, it was not related to the job. I could be totally wrong. Could have been over a promotion, raise, being relocated to a better facility. What it could have been heat related. Maybe they don't have AC at the facility. But I suspect if they were talking about something and that led to the altercation, it was not related to the job. Jamian Miles, now this shooting happened in Natchez, Mississippi at the supermarket. Now, importantly, with this shooting, Jamian Miles was the employee. The people that he shot, they were patrons. One of them, Kenrick Wimley, black male, W-I-M-L-E-Y. Same thing. I knew these folks and I thought it might be trouble, and they came in, and that's multiple levels, things that I've talked about before, where because, and you heard that a number of times, because you're at work, if you have conflict with non-white people or even white people, a lot of that, people classified as white as well, but because you're in a fixed location and you have a schedule, and some people, they have a set work schedule, like it might not change for years sometimes. This is, when I work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, that's when I'm there, like Mr. Fuller, he had a set work schedule. This is where I'm at every day, years and years and years. So, I mean, it's easy, like, oh, okay, especially if you have contact with this person, so you kind of know some of their routine, it's easy. Oh, I know Willie. He's there every day. I'm going to be waiting right outside of his car when he get off. It's easy to do that sort of thing. So, and he said, I thought they might come to my job. Even that, like, woo. And over what is this? He owed me $50,000. He said something to my sister. Most of the time it is over the most trivial hamburger buns, onion rings, slice of pizza. Now all three of us, because it was a group of them, now we got to come up on your job and, see about you and how you messed over us for our onion rings. Kills a 28-year-old black male. 28-year-old black male. Brain computer not even fully developed at this time. Like, man. And even the employee privileged black male, Jamian Miles, 23-year-old black male. Again, and apparently whatever disagreement that they had in the store, it continued outside. Now, I don't know all what was said and all of that, but again, I would really discourage all the back and forth. What did you say to me? Who do you think you talk? None of that. Some patron comes in wherever you work at, and you're going to continue out to the parking lot. I don't know what was said. I don't know what it was about. You said something to my sister. You texted something to my mama, whatever. In the workplace, There's no back and forth. You don't talk to me and filter. None of that. If you have security, boom. If you have a panic button, boom. That's when you press the panic button. That's even another one. Well, because I'm at work. I don't want to get fired. Some jobs, that might be enough to get you fired. You having some sort of verbal spat with a patron. Oh, man, we don't want that here. We're trying to have, sales and trying to have record year in terms of our profits. You in here fussing with all of y'all. Beat it. They could do that easily. So in the workplace, like, hey, no going back and forth, and I'm not saving face or defending my honor. We even said somebody takes a swing at you in the workplace. Non-violence. You are filing a police report. Run for safety. It's not, unless it's direct self-defense, like, oh my goodness, I got to, defend my life type of thing. Other than that, it's run for safety. You're not looking to get your lick back. None of that. Not in the workplace. You want it to be, I was trying to flee. Call enforcement officials. Get to safety. I was not out there trying to be aggressive and do none of that. But particularly now, you don't know if these folks are armed. But that's in Natchez, Jamie and Miles, again, 23-year-old black male, and he actually did kill one person, black male, Kenrick Wimley, who was 28. No impulse control at all. Bang, bang, bang. And then the last report, Brandon Lucas, who was 31, I guess ripe old age, but that report is an update. Now, we heard about Brandon Lucas being killed in Nevada at the Five Below store some weeks ago. This is one where I think this is a non-white, non-black person, but I'm not sure. We have to see one. I'm not sure because they haven't made an arrest. This happened last month. Ain't nobody been arrested. Like, what is, man. Anyway, happened in broad daylight. I guess they do shoot people in broad daylight in Nevada and don't make no arrests. Took them, 30 years for Tupac? They said, allegedly, they hadn't even arrested the person, haven't had a trial yet, so allegedly, they think the shooter of Mr. Lucas, that Mr. Lucas' co-worker, female co-worker, 17, that allegedly they had exchanged some text messages and Mr. Lucas had said something flirty to her. And these allegations, we don't know if that's true or not. I can only say, one, I have suggested for years, no sexual activity with your coworkers. I've said for years, it is not worth it. There's so many cases and instances where, one, how long is this going to last? We're going to get married, like, what? Is this a 5-minute thing? We're going to go hop in the back seat. We're going to go hop in the closet. Like, what is this for? Is this worth ruining your entire career? In this case, is this worth ending your life? I think for most of us, the answer is going to have to be no. Particularly if you get a little hindsight on it, no. No sexual activity, no flirting, I did not take this job. Ostensibly, you did not take this job to compensate for Tinder, find a care mate. That is not why you took this job. You took this job to make as much money as possible. Let's stick to that objective. And let's not do anything that is going to derail that objective. And if you get killed on the job, that objective has been derailed. The age difference on top, even if she was 71, it would not be any different. It would be the same. No sexual activity, flirting with your coworkers. Lots of these folks, they already have care mates, spouses, might be married, and that sort of thing is very common. That happens all the time. That happens with white people, non-white people, somebody on the job, female, and they think, might not even be true, but they think someone on the job is flirting with their female and they get jealous and I got to come up there and say something to her, maybe strangle and kill her, or come up there and shoot up the workplace. And we just heard about that thing where somebody, a listener wrote in, called in, was talking about a black male who got accused, you didn't mess with my female and her partner gonna come up there and I'm gonna strangle you, black Negro, and raping my partner and all that other. It is not worth it. It's just way too many illustrations where all of this just caused massive problems, maybe even fatalities. Enforcement officers have to be called. You did not take the job to flirt with, talk slick, find a care mate with the folks who are working here. You took this job to make this money. Let's just do that. And I've also said with the text specifically, hey. These are not your homies. No texting. Now, I've said, hey, concede. You did voluntarily request this job. So when you fill out the application, your phone number's on it. Probably your coworkers have access to your phone number, your home information. They can probably go sneak a look at the employee records, and or if they're classified as white, their sister, cousin probably works in HR, so they probably will have access to your information. If you take, we've heard lots of folks who've confirmed this, that, you know, their coworkers can go look in personnel, sneak, and get your home number, whatever it is. That said, I would not be in no type of friendly, flirtatious, platonic, non-business contact. Let me get your number and we're just doing some sort of exchange or about what? Even because if it's not related to work, they could have been texting about anything. He might not have even been Mr. Brandon Lucas. He might not have even been flirting with this 17-year-old. He might have just been sending text about whatever. I've seen that where sometimes a person, because that happens on the job and in life, where sometimes a person, maybe they're flirting, maybe they're not. And the other person, they interpret it in a different way than what was intended. Maybe something was said that it was not flirty, but the person, oh yeah, that nigger got fresh with me. See there, he talking about, oh yeah, I don't appreciate that. Now look at it. And then they go and tell all these old people. So, man, we're just talking about the job. No, and that's another one too, where I said those texts, we're not doing emojis and all the rest of it, because it could have been emojis. It could have been a heart about something, and then, hey, he's sending hearts over that. Don't do all that. Nah, man. These are, if we're sending any sort of text, it's just about work. We happen to get, hey, are you available to work the second shift this weekend? Because we had somebody, that sort of thing. Okay. That shouldn't be no, hey, he flirting up. I was just asking about the schedule. That's all. We had somebody call out. That's it. And even then, I'm not doing no emojis, none of that. Have my finger slip and hit the eggplant. They wait, hey, he didn't send an eggplant. You see this? He's trying to send old phallic something. I knew it. I'd go rancid Gus. I knew he was going to. Just using my words. This is business. I don't want no confusion. I don't want no incorrect, false accusations. But man, I don't know if that's true or not. One, all this time and they still haven't caught the person. The suspect, their sibling, worked at the establishment and you still haven't caught the person. Brandon Lucas, nobody who will be missed. You heard his family saying that this could have been stopped even if the employer, Five Below, had told the employees, hey, this is what's acceptable with texting and all of that. C.O.W.S has been talking about that for a long time. Some employers, they do include that in training and telling employees, hey, the same type of thing that I say. Business, we're not exchanging personal communication and proper decorum and how you talk to other employees, and even might even have rules about communications off-site after work. Five Below, maybe they don't do all that. Maybe they don't have an extensive training manual, since they say, hey, we're not serious 9 to 5. We're just small little retail outlet and all the rest of it. But, man, at the Gus, all those text messages, it should be strictly business, even if the other employees are all non-white. These are not your homies. These are not your friends. These are not people that you, hey, I'm trying to hook up with. No, you are not. This is a coworker. You want your job or you want sexual activity? Make a choice. This one, do you want your life or allegedly sexual activity or just flirtatious texts, allegedly? Brandon Lucas. Again, condolences to his family out in the desert. Number again, 720-716-7300. The code 564-943#. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. The email untiljustice@gmail.com. If folks have suggestions, again, for curtailing, neutralizing workplace violence, staying safe in the workplace for sure, speed dial, let us know. Do not wait till last moment. If we have any folks who feel, again, you might be the one on the verge of instigating workplace violence against a white person, non-white person, for sure, let us know. Maybe be on speed dial as well. We'll see if we can do our best to offer some alternatives so that you can get problem solved without it having to be a counter-violence situation or even violence against other victims of racism, which does not help anyone. Let's see. Before I nab some of our emails and such, see if folks have thoughts, observations to share, I have been reading portions from Neely Fuller Jr.'s employment personnel record at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. I thought it was constructive, just kind of seeing his meticulous, very impressive workplace record, where they speak so highly of his record of safety, his competence, and where he took time to study policy and procedure to know everything that was required of his position at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, and how highly esteemed he was, regarded by his fellow co-workers, and all the promotions and things that he got, and even to see that the same logical thinking and brain computer that he used for counter-racism, that same sort of thinking he applied it on the job while he was at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Anyway, it has been a hoot to read, and I've been sharing some of that as we proceed. I'll do some more as well. He worked there so long, it's pretty thick, so I have lots to share. But I said this week that one of my FOIA requests did come through after some wrangling and such. Now, Gus T is in possession of Neely Fuller Jr.'s employee personnel record and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's employee personnel record. They are both quite fascinating for different reasons. So I can kind of swap back and forth. I'll read a little bit from each. So this is from 1984. Justification for outstanding performance, Francis C. Welsing, MD. Position, medical officer, psychiatry, clinical director, Paul Robeson School in Washington, D.C. Quantity of work, supervisors, standards. My expectations are to set forth standards that will get the maximum results in the area of clinical therapeutic education and related medical fields. The quality of work is constantly being evaluated through the Mental Health Services Administration and the state agency for the District of Columbia's public school system. Our clinical program also complies with standards set forth by the Psychiatric Clinics for Children, a national organization. I expect to get maximum results from all staff members, and especially those in the clinical program. Our reporting system is processed 4 times in our school calendar. Therefore, the quantity of work is at the highest level. Actual performance. Dr. Welsing is the director of the clinical program in the Paul Robeson School. She is responsible for directing, coordinating, and supervising every aspect of the clinical program. There are many students that are also part of her clientele. It is my opinion that Dr. Welsing performed all of the tasks in a very outstanding manner. Dr. Welsing was successful in developing a nationally recognized clinical program in Paul Robeson School, successfully completing all aspects of the clinical program as it relates to individual work and staff supervision of clinician involved with special student population, developing many evaluation techniques that were very helpful in working with some of the very serious problems associated with our students, creating many new training facets associated with clinical educational model that were designed to help the staff understand the concepts of psychoeducation, successfully completing the clinical diagnosis and treatment of several of the very difficult cases associated with the school. These students cannot function in a specialized, normal situation, providing clinical consultation to the entire staff on a weekly basis, even when the clinical staff continue to have a staff shortage, serving as a good psychiatric liaison staff person to the Washington metropolitan area. The quality of work was outstanding. Quality of work. Supervisors' standards. The child's individual education plan and clinical standards, according to the Department of Human Services, must demonstrate the highest level of therapeutic work. Since federal and state regulations are involved, every employee must exemplify the highest standards for quality of children's services. Our total monitoring and evaluation process must be factual and accurate, since the children can only be maintained for a certain period of time. Actual performance. The clinical data must be very accurate because of the level of psychiatric treatment involved and the educational dependence on successful treatment of serious emotional problems. Dr. Welsing has demonstrated a very high level of medical treatment for students and parents. She has taken on many difficult cases to develop a model for the child, family, and staff that has proven to be good prescription for success. Our evaluations indicate that Dr. Welsing has worked at the highest level of effectiveness. Her performance is indicated by the performance level of the children. Work habits. Supervisors' standards. We are required to develop diagnosis and prescriptions for children that is 50% above normal because of the severity of our children's problems. There are also requirements that we integrate the function of 2 individual agencies. Actual performance. Dr. Welsing is very known for her untiring devotion to the students and staff. She prefers many difficult clinical assignments because of the needs that our children develop as we work with the cases. Our system continues to be very effective because of her efforts. Dr. Welsing is constantly trying to help the children, parents, and staff succeed in developing an awareness of the problematic areas and trying to address them, looking for new concepts associated with early stages of development and how they relate to our emotionally disturbed population. Her work habits in this area are very impressive. Constantly modifying the clinical education model so that many new techniques are highly developed. She is always trying to do a little bit more, and her work habits are simply outstanding. Personal relations, supervisors, standards, mental health situation of this nature dictate a level of personal relations that must be very high. Our constant theme is to develop a sincere relationship between staff and children that can measure very positive behaviors. All staff are required to have very positive personal relationship with emphasis on helping the children perform. Actual performance. Dr. Welsing, in her capacity as clinical director, clearly demonstrates superior personal relationships with all staff members associated with clinical and educational programs. Dr. Welsing is very much known for her ability to get along with staff and students. People are constantly seeking her advice on special matters. Clinical directors and administrators must help to develop strong public relations, and Dr. Welsing performs very well. I will stop there, even though there is a little bit more that goes on, but I thought very similar to Mr. Fuller, just wow. I don't know too many people that are classified as black, especially people classified as black who assertively, publicly address white supremacy racism, which Dr. Welsing has been doing for more than a decade by this point, and she had been under FBI surveillance for more than 30 years by this point. To have white people on her job, well, I don't know if these are white people, but have her coworkers have such supreme compliments to pay her with really all aspects of it. It didn't seem like she had any deficits, just outstanding. Her work with the children, which, not that I'm surprised, but still, just to be able to see that, and particularly, her being classified as subversive, and all the times that she said, people said, I knew you was crazy and all that. What are you talking about? My credentials are impeccable in terms of my academic pedigree. And then what you just heard, my credentials are impeccable. What are you pseudoscientific? What? Who are you even? And it just goes on and on like this, like very lengthy. It goes over decades, really, of her employment as a psychiatrist. Even, I will say, because I'll just do the same thing I was doing with Mr. Fuller, maybe I can go back and forth each week. So next week I can read a little bit from Mr. Fuller's employee file and just kind of go back and forth. Folks can share if they think it's constructive or not. I do, just because, one, these people both talked publicly about racism. You can look and see, hey, Dr. Welsing had been on TV repeatedly by this point talking about racism, and on the radio, and in the newspaper, even the local Washington Post, repeatedly, with her picture and everything, talking about white supremacy racism. And as I said, she had been under FBI surveillance for more than 30 years by the time that this review was done, and they still had that to say about her. And I just think it is, for both of them, it is such a testament to one, them both being brilliant in their respective fields, and then just the high quality in terms of the character people that both Mr. Fuller and Dr. Welsing, high character people of such high integrity, and then high competence, high functioning brain. Both wrote books and studied meticulously for their entire lives the system of white supremacy racism, and that same competence and meticulous thought process, it comes through in their performance evaluations from strangers. And these are evaluations that are like 40 years old. And it matches up precisely with, yep, that's Dr. Welsing, that is Mr. Fuller. Anyway, I'll share a little bit more as we proceed through the week's Neutralizing Workplace Racism, because racism does pop up in Dr. Welsing's employee personnel, but it does pop up in fascinating ways, so we'll have to share more as we proceed. But right on, Dr. Welsing, no surprise, no shock there at all, exemplary through and through. Okay, number again, 720-716-7300, the code 564943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. We'll get in email number one. Folks are spectating or maybe being treated well in the workplace. If you are getting all of the ice, water, tea, shade, breaks that you need to make sure that you survive if you're in one of the areas with the extreme heat, and or you have figured out some strategies to not have fisticuffs and brawls and shootouts in the parking lot of your job. Definitely share, not for spectators. Let's see, make sure. And the email untiljustice@gmail.com, untiljustice@gmail.com. Let's see, email number 1. Hi, Gus and Cal's audience. You are quite right. There's no way Keisha, her black sister, would speak to a white. Oh, this is the sunglass last week. Remember? Oh, I retract. I don't know if they were sunglasses, but she said the turtle shell glasses, not sunglasses, but this was where our writer, she was accused by her black sister co-worker. Maybe she's about to pull the pistol out, man, you done took my glasses, I'll shoot you on the but she was accused of having stolen these glasses, and the black coworker, I think, said in front of everyone, like, where she started, she was going in, and she said, oh, and then wait a minute, I guess you didn't steal my glasses. Woo, I was about to curse you out something good. What we just talked about, I was about to give you a good public embarrassment and humiliation. I was going to curse you so bad your mother would blush, but oh, I see you old Negro heathen that you didn't take my glass. And then she turned to the white boss, if my memory is correct. She turned and said, look at that. I thought that old no-count black Negro heathen had stole my glasses. Boy, I was going to curse her out something good she doesn't even know. And the white boss said, oh, I see. Well, I'm glad she did. Who had them first? Like, what? And I said, there is that. What I said, we white and non-white people, we leave our residence looking for conflict with black people. We might not say that explicitly, but that's what it is. You don't know what you're talking about. You looked at me. What did you say to me? Who are you talking? We are looking for conflict. That's Chud the Builder. Everyone is looking for conflict with a black person. You done stole my glasses. Now, if a white person, oh man, Susie, I got those same glasses. I think they look better on you. Worthy of great pity. You see the same. That's why I said nobody can be shocked about the public humiliation. I'm not saying that doesn't make it any better. I'm just saying that is the system of white supremacy racism. We don't beat Leroy the slave privately. Oh no. We make a spectacle. That's going to be at high noon. All of the Negroes had better be here, standing up front. We beat you if you're not here. We want you to see every lick that is administered. See? It's got to be public. Oh no, it's not even fun if we just take Leroy in the office or take him out in the back of the building and yellow. No, we got to have the whole building. Filth, Florence, same thing. Yell about the glasses. Filth, Florence, and you dumb, stupid, and you don't know nothing. And why did you get hired in affirmative action? And that's what I say about you. That's what it's supposed to be. Everybody can sit around. You tell him that's what I said. Same thing. He ain't supposed to be hired to begin with. Love it. Even if you didn't do anything. I'm just sitting. I didn't steal any glasses. I gotta get a hypothetical verbal lashing because I thought about or you imagined that I pilfered your glasses. Minimize contact. At our away day last Christmas, Keisha, black sister, told right-wing Ashley that she's really sweet. She said the same about Amina, Indian female, who colluded with right-wing Ashley to lie about me. Keisha was her line manager at the time and is still very close with her. And as a reminder, Keisha is the person who called Tristan to complain that I had been allocated the desk they like. Oh yeah, you don't get, who do you think you are? You stealing desks? And then she got uppity. She got the desk after she was gold bricking in line and said, oh, I got back problems and my ankle hurt. And oh no, I ain't gonna bring my x-rays in, but my back hurt. After she did all that, the white man came and sat in her newly gotten chair. He said, hey, that's my chair. You don't sit in my chair. They got that for me. And they were so upset. Like, you are going to be greedy and hog that you're not going to let anybody else. Give you a good. I remember that. That's another one. If somebody classified as white had said, my eyeball is strained, my earlobe hurts, I strained my eyebrow, I'm going to need a special desk and a special screen and a special computer too, so that I can work through my eyebrow strain. It would not have been, wait a minute, hussy, what do you mean that's your desk? Anybody can sit there. These are employees. You didn't buy it. It's not yours. What do you? No. I do not think that would have happened at all. That's another one for a composure too, when these sort of things happen to, so that you are not the one. Filth foreign, and who are you talking to? And my back hurts, and I did get the dip. Say that again. They might be armed. They might shoot you over the chair. Continuing. You done stole the chair or desk. Tristan was at home, and I guess she felt so aggrieved she felt the need to call him and discuss my unworthiness in my presence. See, they love the public humiliation. She was talking about me, not to me, so I said nothing. A+ composure. And the anti-black saga continued into this week. On Monday, I met with Tristan for our regular catch-up, and he brought up a few things from the away day, why I didn't bring my laptop, losing the pass, and my journey home. He asked on the day why I didn't bring my laptop, and I reminded him that I never carry one when traveling and that I have one for home, one for the office. He already knows this, as they all do. Clearly, I was the topic of discussion after I left early, which he okayed, which is why the line manager of the year had forgotten my accommodations. I will say we are always the one talking about, especially you done left early. What? And I think this is the away day where they wanted her to ride in. Like, hey, you're supposed to come and meet us all on the trains. We could ride in because I think it was like 500 miles away or something crazy. They said, you all supposed to come so we can get on the train again. Like, I'll get that. I'm grown. We'll get there. I don't need to ride with you. I was like, what? She's supposed to ride so we can spy on her and talk her to death while she's here. Keep tabs on her. See what she's doing on ride up there. She didn't ride with us on the way up there or the way back, and she didn't bring her laptop. Bear in mind, my home laptop needed replacing about a month ago. Setting up a new one takes an entire day because of all the security features. So when IT delivered it, I waited until I had a full work day free to do the setup properly. The next morning, I messaged the team to say I'd be offline. Straight away, Monique, my other black sister, asked what color the new laptop was. I hadn't even taken it out of the box because it doesn't belong to me. So I told her that. Brilliant. And I think that's super important too. This is not even if they assign it to me, it's not my property. This is the equipment, desk, laptop, phone, car, whatever, that has been assigned to me. And even, why am I excited? It's not mine. I don't get to keep it. They could fire me tomorrow. I don't get to put this in my little cardboard box and take it to my residence. Why am I excited? Now, I think she had said too when she was gold breaking about her different injuries and such, that she had this old 50-pound computer that they gave her from the dinosaur ages. So maybe they got her a 21st century device that does not weigh 50 pounds. So that might be hey, I don't have to continue to kill my back and arms and such to lug this thing around or to move it or what have you. But I'm not celebrating even the desk or what have you. It's more comfortable and that's better, and now I can have better posture and what have you. Great, help me get a little bit work done. It is not my property, and I even think that is super constructive. One, just because it's truthful. It's not my property. I'm not. If this was mine again, and I know they didn't got me a computer, and I get to have it. They already got it in writing, and yes, then I can be excited. This is going to be standard. It's just like every other piece of furniture they got in the building. It's going to be staying here when I go home, staying here when I leave this job. No, I'm not excited. Come on. A few weeks earlier, I made the mistake of reminding people that I have 2 laptops. They're going to be upset about that too. Like, what is this Negro woman doing with 2 laptops? Amina was encouraging everyone to get upgrades because IT is replacing anything older than 3 years. I said the one in the office is only a year old, so I don't need a new one, but the one at home is looking shabby, so maybe I get that one changed. I genuinely don't care about these things. So when I said it, I didn't think about how the other people do and how quickly it becomes, why does she have 2 laptops situation. It will be that way about anything with so-called niggers. Like we said before, the same logic behind why, like summertime, right? So if you get to take a holiday or vacation, you go someplace cool, literally and figuratively. You go someplace, it's not going to be a billion degrees. You can go have a good time. You do not share and tell all of your colleagues, where are you going? Oh, we're going to Fiji. You know, what? Fiji? I've been. When are you going to? How's this nigger afford to go to Fiji? You've been selling crack on this other. Stay at home, getting caught up on my laundry. You might be in Fiji for 10 days. You're going hang gliding, and we're going to explore the caves, and we're going to go snorkeling and all that. Staying at home, doing my laundry. Yes, that is a lie. Even if you omit, technically, that would be a lie if you're not going into details about all of this. But I mean, hey, I would much rather that, because heard too many illustrations, people classified as white. This is a system of white supremacy. Right? You're not supposed to have nothing, much less something. I don't. What? You got 2 laptops? You got a special desk? What? How did this Negro woman get a special desk? How did she get 2 computers? How did she go to Fiji? That sort of, see. Now we got to, you talk about public humiliation. We done find out you got something we not. Ooh. Even you might get some of the non-white people to participate in the, like, it could be exactly the same. If you work with all people classified as non-white, exactly, just repeat what I just said. How did this nigger woman get 2 computers? How did she get a special desk? Who do you think you are? Heard that before. That's when Jose, Colombian, Japanese male, I'm assuming non-white, and Monique, who is always weirdly invested in my life, my workload, and what equipment I'm allowed to use, started questioning me about why I have 2 laptops. I realized immediately I shouldn't have mentioned it, so I walked away. Hey, good job. When I came back, Jose asked again. I didn't answer. Monique has asked several times since, finding different ways to try to get the answer. I haven't told her. Especially if these folks are not black, particularly if any of them are classified as white, I would think they should know way better than you. What is the procedure for ordering special equipment, if you need a new laptop or a second laptop or a desk or whatever? They should know that whole protocol. Like, or they could just go ask their manager. That would be the appropriate step, yes? That's who, I write her. That's what she did. Go ask your manager. Oh, okay, we'll get you the gym. Now, they did take as much time as possible to get all this delivered and everything, but hey, go speak to your manager. They all know I have back problems. They think you are pretending to have back problems. They say, well, we didn't see the x-rays. We do not know. She has no back problem. So I genuinely don't understand the probing, except that it feels they're offended because I am classified as black and therefore unworthy of anything that looks like accommodation or resource. Bingo. And again, they have studies, like they talk about NFL players. You can go out and break your leg. Like, broken leg. Leroy. Can I get an aspirin? Aspirin, you old crack snorting Leroy. You're, I told you what she said, my ankle. Let me see the x-ray. Your ankle hurt. System of white supremacy. Expect that. And that's why I would not talk about any. If they already got HIPAA, I would not go into any medical, issues or whatever. My neurodivergency is acting up to that. You're not going to get any sympathy. And I would say the same thing even if you work with all people classified as black. Now, some of this, she just told you that some of these people are non-white, maybe not necessarily black, but they're victims of racism if they're not white. And it's not simple. Oh, man, I'm so sorry. Back problems are the worst, and I hope you get better. Make sure you're drinking your water. Don't be picking up that back problem. You've been smuggling all that crack cocaine. That's when you hurt your back? Muling? That's about what I would expect. Anyway, even from other non-white people. Continuing. The day after the new laptop arrived, I typed in the chat that the laptop was gold, joking because I knew it would send Monique into a tailspin. She replied, "It can't be, lol." The only way she could know if she checked, which I think she did. I made another joke to shut down the anti-black anxiety because at that point I realized I was dealing with irrationality. That is the system of white supremacy racism. Because I mean, really, it's not my device. I wouldn't care if it's polka dot, striped, purple, neon, fuchsia. It's not mine. They could take it back tomorrow. Why am I jumping up and down? And they might be using it to spy on me. Why am I celebrating? Like, come on, man. All that and anti-black. Now, if a white person had got an extra accommodation, they had got to work from home for an extra day that you didn't. Are you going to be doing all this with them? Continuing. Then Tristan brought up the lost pass. This is from the away day where I think one of her colleagues found it and she thought that there might have been something nefarious with all of this, but continuing, almost as if it was connected to everything else, even though it wasn't. I honestly doubt I'm the first person to lose a pass, and it's not exactly a crisis. I clearly didn't lose it on purpose, so I'm not sure why he mentioned it at all. I just said yes, but Raj found it, so everything's fine. He didn't say anything else about it. He also asked about my journey home, which was strange because, well, see, you didn't travel with them. So trying to be independent. We told you you're supposed to be traveling in a group. You're going to break off and then leave early, too. Who do you think you are? Gold bricking, computer stealing, thieving nigger. Who do you think you are? You're not even going to. Who do you think you are? That's kind of what that is. On the day when Tristan told me, I missed something. He asked me about my journey home, which was strange because I wasn't required to travel with anyone and he'd already okayed my arrangements. I told Monique beforehand that I'd booked an earlier train so no one would expect me to travel back with them. That doesn't mean they were pleased about it. She even said she wished she'd done the same, so I'm sure that fed into whatever undermining conversation they were having. Probably wish she had done the same so she could spy on you, and then the double whammy, like, that nigga did what? Why didn't I think of that? I could have left early too. On the day when Tristan told me I could go home, he asked about my ticket then, but he didn't ask about the ticket again this week. He just asked how the journey was. I said it was fine. He told me they had loads of disruption. I said I'd booked outside rush hour to avoid overcrowding. Then I reminded him that I have reasonable adjustments and I didn't know the plan was to work in a different office. He said something like, "Yeah, we probably should have talked about that beforehand." He kind of acknowledged that the planning around the away day wasn't great. Overall, it felt like he was circling around the laptop, the pass, and the journey home without any clear point, but it was a casual chit-chat. But it wasn't. It wasn't a casual chit-chat. I was being questioned. Monique, who I've observed in person, who lacks boundaries, continues to test mine. I mentioned she has put a fortnightly team to catch up so she can probe me and pass information to Shelley, racist suspect, so that she can undermine me. I've never gone to one of those meetings. Today, Monique moved the meeting into the exact time I had my well-being hour. We're allowed to take 1 hour every 2 weeks and can take it when it's most convenient. Wow, that is amazing. And like constructive, like, wow, that's amazing. Wow. Anybody, if you have anything like that on your job, make sure you use it. Like, find out all the rules and regulations. Like, we need to properly notify, like, I'm going to use my hour today, or if you need to get permission or whatever it is, make sure you use it. If you just go sit quietly, if it's a little park bench, it's summertime now for most people, Northern Hemisphere, you can go find a little park bench, go sit there, even if it takes 10 minutes. If you got an hour, you can take 10 minutes and go walk from there and go sit quiet, get a little vitamin D, sunshine. You can go sit out and read, eat, whatever, think, meditate. I cannot believe they done came in and accused me and cursed me about them glass or whatever right in your workplace. There's lots of things that you could do. Look at the birds, anything. But if you get that time, that should not be one that, I'm going to try and impress them and I'm not going to use it. Wrong. Take that. You could take a nap, anything. Listen to some music, anything. Take your hour. If you get it every 2 weeks, make sure you use it. That should be 2 per month where you get an hour to go and wellness check in, do a little meditation. So the trifling folks, they scheduled doing her well-being time. Before that, I'd already put a diary hold in for a meeting with another department, and when that meeting got confirmed, I kept the hold because I need the prep time. She shifted the catch-up anyway right into the well-being hour. I didn't attend, didn't apologize, didn't explain. I just logged off for my well-being time like normal. Shelley chaired the divisional meeting a few months ago, and she tried to force me to present on my work at a previous divisional without warning by getting someone in her team to put me on the spot in the meeting, and I shut that down immediately. This time she invited another team whose work is kind of adjacent to mine to present. You could tell she was trying to create a narrative or a link. Luckily, the team who were presenting ran out of time, so she didn't get the chance to really push anything. She tried to draw a connection between her team's work and mine right at the end, but it was rushed and didn't have the outcome she hoped for. That would be another one I would say is like the publicly humiliating and embarrassing, like when they because we talk about setting you up to fail, the deliberate sabotage, as opposed to professionally. She could have dropped the text message. We talk about professional text, email, any sort of notification, even swing by the office day before. Hey, we're doing the meeting tomorrow. About if you just give us maybe quick little update, little 5-minute summary, just to tie in. You're not leading or anything, but just little update. Whew, great. Now I know I could take a little time, maybe get a little graphic going. I can do put my best foot forward. Oh, no. Oh, no, we don't want that. We want another opportunity to shame and humiliate where you haven't been given no time, no warning, no nothing. Just totally put on the phone like, what? What? Why don't you? And particularly for a lot of them, that's not even the procedure. If you want the person to give an update or we might have some questions about the project, let them know in advance. It might be a technical project. Do I need to have figures and facts? Or you want a graphic presentation about all this? Let me know in advance. Don't set me up to fail. And that is so common in the workplace, even with other people classified as black, non-white coworkers. They will set you up to fail. They will not put you in position so you can do your absolute best work, or so that at least you have a chance to do your best work if you just take advantage of the opportunity presented, time that's presented, that you've been given. Everything is done correctly so you can do your best work. If you're qualified and competent, you can do your best work. Oh, no. we want it so that this might be your worst performance because we've done everything we can to sabotage and manipulate it as such. Much obliged for the report. I can't say enough composure. This illustration right here, when you have all of these and the micromanaging and they're coming to pick after you about, didn't you lose your pass, and you done got this old computer and unjust, or they would say, you done got this computer unfairly. I was supposed to get one of them. A man tried to get one. How'd you get with that sort of thing? It can be so easy, and especially it's hot. It's 100 degrees. They're talking nonsense. They're practicing racism. It can be so easy to get frustrated and fire back and feel foreign and start. That is not the correct way. Say consistently, composure is number one. I think I could be in error, but at least my view, when we expect white supremacy racism to be practiced, We're not shocked about this. That can be very helpful in managing our composure. We're not thinking we're in a system of justice. We're not thinking that we have just coworkers who respect our work and appreciate our labor, working with racists. Racists who, might literally stab me in the back. At minimum, they will sabotage my work, see if they can get me fired, and then chuckle about it in the process. That's the type of folks that I'm working with, even the victims of racism. So, I'm not shocked about any of this. I'm just thinking, what's the best way to respond? Even sometimes, as she said, I don't say anything. They didn't ask a question. They just made whatever trifling commentary they had to make. I don't say anything. I take a few deep breaths. I go to the lavatory. I take my notes. I figure out if I need to write an email, how to respond. But I'm not going to, even when she came out, the black female victim came out, you done stole my glass. Don't have to say anything. You write it down. Take notes. That's the sort of thing. I do remember Fuller had talked about that too. That's one, oh man, I might, if I was feeling like it later, like not that day, but like days down the line, what, do you talk to everybody that way? The way you talk, if they're, going at me about the, I was about to curse you out, do you, talk to white people like that? You curse them out in the workplace and that sort of thing? Just to see, if they say yes, no, and if they say no, why not? You don't believe in equal opportunity? You're supposed to be tough with everybody, right? That's, but that's, like I said, I would not do that on the day of. It's not even necessary, but that is one. I do remember Fuller even talked about that, noting employees who will get real tough, black males and black females will get real tough, have a whole lot of mouth and volume with our mouth in how we talk to other black people on the job. White people, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Good to see you, Mr. Johnson. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Come on. Come on. Again, everybody leaves the house looking for conflict with people classified as black. Could be wrong. I don't think so. Much obliged for the email. The address again for the email, untiljustice@gmail.com. The number 720-716-7300. The code 564-943#. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. If we have folks who, hey, none of this applies to me. Black people that I work with are courteous. They don't curse me. They don't name call. They don't sabotage. We have a harmonious work arrangement. The suspected racists, white people that I work with, I keep them on my radar as suspected race soldiers, but they don't bother me. I get all my correct pay, weekly installments, monthly installments, whatever your pay period is. It's always accurate. I don't have to go and fuss with accounting. They didn't stole nickels from me or anything like that. I have a safe work environment. We have plenty of cold water to drink, maybe even air conditioning. If that is the case, I hope it remains that way until you are ready to retire permanently. If so, feel free. You can invest. If you think the C.O.W.S is constructive, hit the blog racism-notes.blogspot.com. racism-notes.blogspot.com. PayPal button in the top right corner. Beneath the PayPal button, you'll see the links for Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. Much obliged for all the folks who've kept us on the air for 17 plus years, where we've said no dating the whole time, no dating in the workplace. Hopefully we've been worthy of your time and energy. We'll be here tomorrow. Brand new book on the Catherine Massey Book Club. Polish up our crown. Biography Kings. That'll be normal time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And then we will be here for the Counter-Racist Weekly Review on Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Much obliged. Hopefully worthy of your time and energy. Let's see if folks have things to share from the workplace from this week. Again, if folks have any codes, anything related to minimizing conflict in the workplace. That is so needed, so important, especially conflict with black employees, unfortunately. But if folks have any codification thoughts there, feel free. We'll give folks maybe 5 minutes, see if they have thoughts, observations to share. Hopefully, again, folks, if you are spectating in the summertime, you are safe in your work environment, safe from the heat, safe from threats and violence, and then getting all of your getting performance reviews that sound like that of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Exemplary, extraordinary employee on your, award letter or bonus letter or promotion letter or all of the above, maybe. Hopefully lots of, if you do not have reports of racism in the workplace, we'll have lots of reports that sound like that. And Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. Let's see. No, folks are, while I give folks their 4 minutes to see if they have thoughts, observations, I would not be chatting about FIFA, the tournament in the workplace. One, I've just said for years also, I said it today, no sports. Now, normally that would be, the Super Bowl and baseball and basketball and all that college sports. That's, I guess about a month or so away. Not talking about any of that. I would not be talking about FIFA either. Now, we're in Seattle, where we're one of the cities that had the games going on and all of that. I'm not talking about any of that because that's so easy to spill into politics in terms of President Trump getting involved, the gripes about making some of the games a pride match, the countries that are involved, and you got to get in that. Some of the countries are so-called Muslim. In it. Man, and did they wager on the game? I bet on France. I bet against France. I thought Morocco. No talking about FIFA or the soccer tournament in the game, in the workplace either. Just the workplace. You could just say, I don't watch soccer. Make that what I haven't paid attention to it at all. There's been so much craziness going on in the summer, and I'm trying to get my raise and everything. I haven't had time to pay attention at all. You could have a total bracket at home. You've been at every watch party since it started. You do not need to talk about that with your coworker, even if they're classified as not white. You don't even want that sort of reputation, in my view, particularly if you're classified as a black male. And I think in general, white people don't, at least in my experience, white people generally don't go hound black females, go talk about Mike Jordan and all that old nonsense. Generally speaking, that's generally privileged black male thing. Like, oh, Leroy on the sports thing, and then they're going to come for all this, football season is coming up and college. In my view, you do not want to be the black male that everybody we come and talk about sports. No, I'm the dude you come and talk to about management material, promotions, raise, getting more money, serious things related to the. You don't come talk to me. Well, you think old LeBron James gonna? I don't. Come on. You think Seahawks they gonna get this old Super Bowl? I don't know nothing about no. I can't even spell Seahawks. You could have tickets, been to the game, been to the parade, all that. They don't need to know all that. You could have went to the Super Bowl. They don't need to know all that. As far as they are concerned, you cannot spell football. That's soccer or the American brain damage version. Neither one. I don't care about neither one. I'm trying to get my raise. Just a suggestion. Let's see. Folks who dialed in, privileged black male tumbling dice. See if he was accused of anything or if he was able to obtain the video footage from the workplace. Tumbling dice should be with us, sir.
Hi, good evening, Gus. I just called to share that it's the summertime, so the school is out right now. So what I do is I make good use of the gym. So whenever as soon as I get to work in the morning, I walk for like 45 minutes in the gym because there's no activities going on. And then before I get off work, I walk another 30 minutes. So I get my exercise in and I follow your advice and eating all the good stuff like the Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and stuff like that. So I've been doing good so far. But on the work front, the lead guy, who's like the acting supervisor, he told me that one of the teachers told him, he said that tumbling dice his brain is like the cell of an amoeba. He don't know nothing. All what he know how to do is to push the cart with the cleaning materials, because she accused me of messing up one of her pictures in the classroom. So the thing was day before yesterday, she came up to me again and asked me about how to open a door for her. So I said, ma'am, with all due respect, I'm a functional illiterate. I don't know nothing. I don't even know how to handle these keys on my hip. So you need to call the lead so he could let you in the door. So she got pissed off and went to complain to the principal. So I told the lead, I said, I don't care. I said, she said I got the brain of an amoeba, so it's an amoeba talking back to her. So let her figure out how to open her own door. So that's all I got for now, Gus, but thanks for letting me share.
Said he got the brain of an amoeba. Well, that's another one I would not be shocked about. And again, because that's what they think of all of it. That's the bell curve. That's phrenology. Dr. Welsing talked about, that's Dr. William Shockley. I mean, they've said this forever. You niggers are ignorant, and that's why you're victims of white supremacy. You're dumb, got the brain of an amoeba. I would just write that one down. No problem. I do want to celebrate the Brussels sprouts. Super important. Get that fiber in, get the greens in. Spectacular. And that is exactly what I've talked about, where you can use that time, come in, get a little exercise, walk or eat healthy, stay hydrated, all of that, as opposed to these sort of false allegations. And I think they've said he stole the cleaning equipment, came in, messed up the pictures. All of that stress and racism, man, you go and gorge on, because I'm feeling, I mean, the logical thing, I'm feeling bad, or I'm upset, or all of it, I'm frustrated. I'm going to go gorge on Snicker bars, or I'm going to go get ice cream. I'm going to go Snicker ice cream. They got it. I'm going to go get all the Snicker ice cream bars that I can wolf down, or whatever, or the alcoholic beverage, so get me 15 bottles of Mad Dog, because I'm mad about all that. And, oh man, that's the double whammy in the most destructive manner. I'm going to go walk a little bit. I'm going to go eat something healthy. I'm going to do a little meditating. Write this in my journal. Way more constructive way of dealing with all the stress and anxiety of racism in the workplace. Even dialing this program, maybe. I was going to ask with I guess her request about opening the door or what have you, is that in the purview of your duties? Like if this had been a different teacher, educator, who had not said all of that, and they'd said, hey, can you open such and such and such and such? Would you have done it, or would you, is this something that we're not supposed to do? Like, how would you have responded if this had been someone who had never said that? Just go ahead.
Done it. I would have opened the door, but like I say, it's now that school is out, they got a special permission for me to open any door. So I knew I was, on a solid ground, because I don't know if she's still employed there or not, but she berated me to the lead. So I said, okay, if I'm stupid, then I'm functionally illiterate. You figure it out, since you're the one that's so smart, And I left it at that, But they like to do that. You know, whenever they see you're black or you have an accent, and that like Mr. Fuller said, as soon as they see you got shade in your skin and you speak with some, you're a prime target for abuse. So this is what was going on, you know.
I see. This with all the false accusations, I said it before, my suggestion would be, just because this is an ongoing, it seems like it's a weekly, maybe daily thing where you get charged or accused of something, every time I would file a report and I would request the video. He came in and he broke my pictures or he stole my pictures or what have you, boop, request the video, and let's see, and make a written report. We have another false charge, false allegation, and we have clear evidence to refute. I would also make a report about the amoeba comment, because I mean, just wasn't.
Oh yes, I already did.
Good job. Bravo there too. I guess it's in this. I mean, hey, victims guaranteed, qualified. Bravo, good job. I might suggest, and I'd have to think about it, or I guess maybe other folks can see what they think too. You have policy and procedure on your side. Like you said, I don't even know if she still works here. She might have transferred, been fired. Who knows? The procedure is not just go and open the door up for anybody during the summertime. She has to get permission. I might have just said that and nothing else, because then she can go make a report or say whatever she needs to say. But I mean, that's just the policy. It doesn't have anything to, even though that is absolutely true. Since, you know, I'm an amoeba, I don't even know how lock works. You need to go get somebody more intelligent. But I mean, hey, I got policy and procedure on my side. You need to get permission. It ain't got nothing to do with my brain computer or nothing else. Like, and in fact, that's one of those on the slide, like, man, I open this and then you go and tell them, hey, you don't even know if I work here or not. Leroy ain't even following policy and procedure. That's what I said about old tumbling. Nap. I'm just going to stick. And again, I'm not saying you did anything incorrect or anything like that, but I mean, oh man, I'm always going to, I'm going to make sure if you done said that I'm old ignorant peanut head, amoeba brain, Gusty. Oh, well, about the only thing I can fit in my brain computer is policy and procedure. And according to policy and procedure, you do need permission for this door to be unlocked. So I guess you need to speak to someone else. And I keep on, I guess, walking the track or doing whatever she's doing with it. But I mean, hey, that's whatever. VGQ, victims guaranteed, qualified. I mean, hey, I always, if you got policy and procedure on your side, ain't even nothing else to talk about. Policy and procedure. I guess maybe the double whammy, yeah, because I would not be surprised if they were that dastardly to go and snitch on you. He opened the door for me, and now I'm going to go tell him because he didn't follow the policy and procedure, and they know they're not supposed to be opening doors and all this, so I'm going to go report it. But like, y'all done accused me of everything. The weed whacker, the cone. The same person already accused me. You said I broke your pictures or stole them or whatever I did. Like, if it's going to be that, and you got to go look at my trunk, no, I'm not opening it, and the justification is just going to be policy and procedure. And then they can come and verify, is that the policy? If it is, oh, okay. Is that what I'm supposed to do? Oh, okay. Does she need permission? Oh, okay. And then nothing else to talk about. That would just be mine, just to make sure that she doesn't try and pull something slick, that I go and open it and then whatever. Or I say, you know, my brain don't worry about it. He was rude to me. See, and I know I was supposed to get permission and everything, but he didn't have to say all that. He could have just told, you know, that's thing, just so we don't have to continue going back and forth. But whatever. That's just my view on that. Excellent job keeping composure and already filing written report. I would want the video for your personal records as well. Again, unless I've been misinformed, an employee in California in the school system can request the video. You said I did whatever in the classroom and messed up these pictures. Let's get the video so I have that in my personal records. That should be, especially if school is out, so it shouldn't be anybody else there. It's just me. Let's see what happened. What did I do while I was in her classroom? Okay, so we got that cleared. False report. Moving. Now we got a stack of false reports where I did not steal the weed whacker I did not steal the cone. I did not threaten or rape this white woman. I did not steal her pictures. Privileged black male. Might even count this as public humiliation because he's had ones where they called the police to come there, and I would count that as public humiliation. I think all that, I mean, you got the brain of an amoeba. I would count all that as public humiliation. Composure, and to not be shocked. Do not be shocked. He obviously has been dealing with this for years at this point, so it's, old hat, same old, same old. But if you have not, if you're thinking, I'm a smart black person, I went to college, and my friends and sister, my husband, he thinks I'm really smart, and he said I was one of the really intelligent black females, so I know I'm smart, and everybody's always told me I'm smart, and all my colleagues think I'm smart, and you've worked 20 years and never heard anything like that. And then suddenly they come out and say, oh, yeah, you know, Lakeisha, you about the most ignorant black person I ever met. You don't even know your ABCs, do you? It can't be. What? What? Are you talking? I'm 5'8". Nah. I'm valedictorian. That ain't got nothing to do with it. System of white supremacy. Dang, I've been on a good roll. It's been 20 years, and ain't nobody said nothing like that to me, but this is a system of racism. Let me go ahead and write that down. Do you even know your ABCs? Can you read? Wrote that date, time. I'm stunned. I'm shy. If anything, I'm surprised that I got 20 years down the road into my career before someone said something. If anything, I'm grateful I've been able to go so long, and I have avoided all this. Like, wow, I had a really good run, but hey, system of racism, it is what it is. I write that out. Even if they didn't say it, you sure enough have worked around a whole lot of white people. Tumbling dice, all of us, we have worked around a whole lot of white people. Even if they didn't say it, if they smiled at you every day, speak to you every day, so good to see you, tumbling dice. Hope your children and family are doing great this summer, tumbling dice. Hopefully y'all have a great summer vacation, tumbling dice. They do think you got the brain of an amoeba. Because that's what it means to be black. And has been forever. Like I said, phrenology, bell curve, William Shockley. You can just pick, go through any century. That's what they think about us. Nothing to get upset about. Just replace white supremacy with justice. Composure. Great job. Sat on my heart so well. The Brussels sprouts, more of us get that watermelon in. Get that, bro. That is counter-racism, right? I keep saying that, man. Like, he didn't say I went and got Snicker bars. He didn't say I went and ate a whole peach cobbler. It's summertime. He said I went and got some exercise. I ate some Brussels sprouts, some broccoli. That is counter-racism A+++. He didn't say I went and got Mad Dog. If he did, at least he didn't brag about it. Counter-racism A++++. What you eat, what is on your plate. Man, sometimes that matters more than anything. You mess around and get diabetes and gout, you might not even be able to execute your counter-racism plan. Much obliged, tumbling dice. Eat well. Brussels sprouts. Caller at the courthouse in Florida. If you had commentary as well. I know he had said before, he was one of the folks who said, man, I think it is constructive hearing Mr. Fuller's employee personnel record. I don't know if you got to hear Dr. Welsing's personnel record today, but I thought equally impressive. I don't know if you were able to hear that or not, but you should be with us, sir.
Yes, sir. May I be heard?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Greetings to Gus, the host, the listeners and callers. Yes, sir, Gus. I appreciate that segment of reading those parts from the employment of Dr. Welsing and Mr. Fuller. It makes me think more on how I can improve in different areas, and it also made me think about, and I think you mentioned this too, Gus, about jotting down or making notes about getting compliments. And like I thought about the emails that someone would send like a supervisor or a manager or something like that, about how they interacted with me and how I was understanding about things. And I would try to save those kind of emails or write them down. I had never thought about that before for some reason. You know, I was just focusing on just observing more of the like the injustices. But I do agree with that point that you made about the compliments and the different things that, like if you work in customer service or if you get compliments from being on a job, that's something to take note of as well. And that was the first thing I wanted to speak on. And the second has been the tacky comments or the tacky behaviors as well from some of the white coworkers on the job in the courthouse. There was one where a top level white person, a top tier, I guess, who I call the warden, he made a comment from what I heard from a victim where they were going to a conference, and he offered to see if the victim wanted to park in one of the administrators' parking spaces behind the gate. Like they have like this card they put into the machine to open the gate so that they can park in those exclusive areas. But this person said they never offered it to them before. So it's like, it's just this very, I guess, deceptive, not really, I guess, natural, genuine behavior. It's like, I don't know, something has caused them to behave this way or something. But this victim found it very, like, I guess suspicious, just not really genuine. So she just refused it because they were going to be gone for a week. And another thing that occurred during the time a lot of the top white people were gone, a white woman who has been there for at least like 40, 41 years, she has been mistreating or being very discourteous to a black female supervisor. And now the first time I think I shared this, where earlier this year, she did this like reply all email saying that, well, nobody tells me anything. They're doing these huddles. She used the word huddle. I think of sports for some reason, you know, huddle. You know, they did these huddles and they don't never tell me anything. So she did this again where the two people in the civil area, they're black people. The civil supervisor is a black female. The civil director, court director, is a black male. So the white woman that's in HR sent out an email that was going out to the whole civil department, and it was reported to me that this same white woman did this reply all type style thing again, and it was like, well, I didn't hear anything about this, and you know, maybe someone needs to do something about this, and not really directly naming anyone, but I just thought it was intentional that she was trying to insult and make a mockery of the black female supervisor. And the black male who was out of town with the rest of the white staff at these court clerk conferences said, you know, leave it to the supervisor to take care of things. And this white woman going to put the other white people, the top tier, I'll say top tier white people, in the email and say, you know, like, okay, and then what are we going to do now? I'll be waiting for them to come back or something. Like, she replied to the black male this way. So I thought that was practicing racism and knowing that she's classified as white, and, you know, she could be doing some kind of thing to where she's trying to, I know, you mentioned doing the setting up and everything and the plotting and stuff. I think she could be trying to do that with the black female. But of course you got the black employee that works at the customer service counter in the courthouse where the supervisor is trying to mistreat her in some way and trying to scrutinize her unjustly on things that she does. But you got this white woman that'll do a reply to the whole department and finding out a way to try to make conflict with the black person. And it looks like nothing, from what I'm hearing, hadn't been done, I guess, with her from the supervisor. I'm not sure what the other white people might have discussed with her, but yeah, she is from that Curtis Powers era, from that 1980s. So she said that to bring her up, she said that they did get a raise, or a secret raise, I heard her say maybe like a year or two ago, where everyone, I think she was using codification, everyone didn't get this raise. So, you know, I was just told to hush up or whatever. So, you know, of course, that being that white person. And if I could share one more, Gus, or two more, there was a black male that I heard say, you know, that, oh, well, no one doesn't speak to me. You know, he does this kind of job task to where he has to take things to the two different buildings. And he says that, well, I'll see them. He said them, I guess the coworkers speak to other people, but they don't speak to him. So, you know, I guess he was just expressing that to another victim of racism, a black male. Two black males were speaking about this. And he says, oh, if I had to work over there, I would hate it. So, you know, I was just in the office working on a computer and attending to emails and whatnot. So I wanted to share that. And one last one is the white guy who is unprofessional and don't know how to talk to people. He still, from what I'm hearing, is coming down to bring Starbucks to the white chick that he has two children with. So I don't know how that's going to be handled, because he no longer works in the courthouse, but he works upstairs. I'm not sure what the position is, but I believe a white person that works up there helped him get that position as well. So I wanted to share that. And the white woman that replaced him, they took some of the responsibilities and put two different responsibilities on a non-white person. One is the cashiering and the money into the traffic area, and that person is non-white. And the other one, which is probates and wills and stuff, estate, that goes to the black female supervisor. And this person has not even reached a 5-year milestone yet, this white woman. And it looks like she's doing a lot more of the gossiping about the juvenile cases and very unprofessional things. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And that's all I have to share. Thanks for allowing me to speak.
Wow. I reckon, I guess before you depart, the white woman who seems like he might be trying to do the same thing, the public humiliation and or sabotaging of the black female supervisor, how do you think she would have handled this problem where she allegedly, she's being kept in the dark, so-called, where people aren't telling her things? How do you think she would have handled this if it was a white supervisor, male, female, whatever, but classified as white?
In my opinion, Gus, I think she would have just went to the person directly, wouldn't have been so open about it, like sending it to everybody in the email. She would have been more, I guess, personable from what I've observed about this white woman. And this same white woman, I did say that, I think I mentioned the term pale predator. She liked the younger black dudes. So this is the same white woman. But I do think that she would have been more direct with a white manager, supervisor, been out of the way from everybody else, would have just went in the office, closed the door, and wasn't really made a scene like that. I don't think she would have done that with a white person.
A spectacle, if you will. Discretion with the white super. Seems like we've heard that a few times of trying to publicly humiliate, specifically with the courthouse. Like we hear it hourly within the system, but specifically at the courthouse, seems like there's a lot of that. Like I don't hear them talking about publicly humiliating my incompetent, unprofessional white brother who doesn't know how to talk to people. I don't hear him share stories about them publicly humiliating him. In fact, he seems to keep sharing stories about white people helping him out, like trying to get him jobs or promotions in spite of. So, whatever. Maybe my memory's bad. He can correct. For sure, I would say for everybody, and Dr. Kanban, he used to talk about this all the time. He said he personally would do this. He said when he was out and about in the world, if he went to an establishment, post office, bank, anything, and it was a black person who served him, if they were competent, helpful, all that, I'm gonna write that in, make sure that I inform. He said he would try to contact the owner of the establishment to say, hey, man, that tumbling dice was amazing. He was there. He picked my child up early. He was courteous. He remembers my name. He remembers my child's name. He speaks to us politely and with a great smile every day. He always gets my child home safely. That is exactly the way. He doesn't do no molesting. That is exactly the way I think a school bus operator should behave. Make sure he gets a robust raise. Let's keep him as long as we can. Like that sort of thing could be the difference in, well, tumbling dice, you've been accused of stealing the weed whacker and the cone and cursing a white woman. We were going to fire you, but you did get this one letter saying that you did a great job and you don't molest nobody. And maybe we give you another 6 months. And that's literally, that's the way Dr. Kanban said it. Like those, you get that written compliment or email or whatever it is, that might be the difference in you getting fired. You get an extra 6 months where you could get time to look for another job, squirrel away and save more money so you can make that transit, whatever. At least you got that extra 6 months. Massive. Or we've had people who said that they were on the cusp of a raise, a promotion. It was a tough decision between who was going to get this new position. Having that letter or letters, whatever, of compliments and even patrons. These aren't even your coworkers. These are the folks who come in to use our services where they, write in or come, man, thank you so much. You were diligent and helpful. And man, they can write that in gold, like big one for everybody. Like save that. You get any sort of written emails and such from people, or because I know the folks at Amazon and such do that. I might even encourage it if they have a comment on the website or anything. Hey, if you got 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 2 minutes on your phone, you can go to the website and drop a comment. I'd really appreciate it if they make you, for anybody, you can say that. If somebody gives a compliment to you that's where it's sincere, where you think you really did quality work with them and tried to help them as best you could, and they seemed grateful and they, man, thanks so much, blah, 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 blah. If you got, 2 minutes and you're on your phone, you can go to the website, leave a comment. Even if, 60% of the people that you say that to do it, and you end up piling 3, 4, 5 of those type of comments in your personnel folder, that might be the difference. Getting a raise, promotion, extra vacation, to anything constructive. So that's same thing that I just said with tumbling dice. I would go policy and procedure because they might be doing something slick. Hey, you come open the closet door for me, knowing you're supposed to get permission. And then if he does, I'll be helpful. This kindly white woman, he opened it. And then she immediately go, that Negro opened the closet door. He's not supposed to be doing that. He violated policy and procedure. Same thing with the parking. She said, I done worked here all this time, and they ain't never came in. Hey, you want to come park in the exclusive? Hey, you save you some time walking. They got hot coffee back here and everything. You never offered it before. Now you can come. Or, hey, you come back be in this exclusive place. It'll be great. Just don't tell nobody. No, I'm okay. Like, man, I come back 2 hours later and they done towed my car. Like, hey, what? Oh, you ain't supposed to park back there. I guess somebody must have called it in. Yeah. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Like, no. Let's just follow the rules. They try to set. That's the same as the public humiliation. Sometimes that'll be it. We're going to get this Negro's car towed. They'll be upstairs watching so they can get the phones out, take videos, put it on social media. Nah, I'm good. Nothing like that. Especially, we ain't even got no rapport. We don't kick it. We didn't hang out for July 4th and do no barbecue or nothing like that. We're not friends. And you haven't offered it to me all these other years that I've been working here. I didn't compensate it. I'm good. I got my parking. My parking plan is good. Now, I asked him, he said with the black supervisor that they were trying to publicly shame and all, doing the reply that he had told us about before, doing the reply all. This is not anything precise, targeted, trying to specifically solve a problem. This is like public spectacle, public shaming. Said, I don't think she would have done all this if it was a white supervisor. I'm even incredulous. Nobody, really? Nobody tells you anything. You come to work, sit around these people every day and are just clueless. Don't nobody send you no emails, all the text messages and all that, the click members. Don't nobody share no information with you about nothing. And this lack of sharing is the black female supervisor's fault. Okay. And the best way to resolve this is a reply all public email. Okay. The secret raise. Oh man, like they work at the courthouse. Like, I mean, I guess if you work at a private company, you can do. I mean, they got at will hiring and all the rest of it. But like, I thought if you work for like a state government entity, like transparency, they're not supposed to have no hidden budgets. Everybody ain't get this raise. Shh. That, in fact, that sort of thing, that would tend to make me think, is there something nefarious about all this? Like, because if it was merit based, as they like to say, why would we need to? You could just say, hey, all the lazy bums, you ain't getting no raise. Do better. We'll evaluate next year. You done sat around and called off work. And, hey, my sick white brother, unprofessional and don't know how to talk to me, you know you ain't getting no raise. All the rest of y'all done sat around here and waited. You don't follow the dress code. You keep coming in here wearing your FAMU t-shirt. You ain't getting no raise. You are. They could explain that, right? We could just go down the metric. Like, we looked at people's performance appraisals for the year. We tied it to a specific number. The people who got a certain score or evaluation above this metric, boop, they got the raise. The people who scored below that, they didn't get the raise. I think they could do that, and at least then, oh, okay, now if I got a problem, I'm going to take it up with my evaluation, and I should have got a higher evaluation, and then I would have got the raise, or, or, heck, I would love it here. People say, I don't think we should have merit-based raises. What should they be based on? Question. And they can fill that in. But I mean, they could have presented it that way. In my view, that's nothing to hush about. In fact, we could have bragged about it. It would incentivize productivity, penalize sloth. You don't get no raise. And transparency. Like, again, was there some malfeasance about all this? Like, I thought people at the courthouse, I thought those were supposed to be public salary, like not just public, like other coworkers and such can get this information and know what people are making, all that. But like regular John Doe who lives in Florida can and should know this information. So this is not no secret. Like what? We are not in a system of justice. We are in a system of white supremacy racism that primarily operates by deception, lying, and we got second one with the white person, the unprofessional white fella, my brethren, who does not know how to talk to people, where he got some sort of new job, new position, or what have you. I think, if I heard it correctly, a different white person helped him get this position, not after he had performed in an honorable and exemplary manner. I think he ain't got no performance evaluation that sound like Dr. Welsing, or he shouldn't. I think he said he had done a pretty shabby job. Like, might be part of the reason why he was leaving. Department is, in tatters. How in the world you just get to leave? And he didn't say go. I didn't hear like he's the janitor working in the cafeteria upstairs. He didn't even say he's barista upstairs. Like he stopped, got the Starbucks coffee, and then he went up to his nice old job. No fall off at all. And if I heard correctly, now, even though he's in the same building, he doesn't work in the courthouse, but I still get all the access, and I can come and roam around the courthouse like I still work here, so I can go holler at my white baby mama and drop her Java off. Like, what? Like, wait a minute. Where's the security pro? They got the deputies and such and panic and all the. You don't work here no more. You don't. If you work at Hardee's and then you leave and go work at Arby's, they don't let you come back to Hardee's and hang out, breakfast, and grab a biscuit and all that. Hey, you go get your roast beef sandwich, man, and give me your keys. You don't work here no more. What in the what? What? I'm even trying to think, like his black mother. She retired, chilling. She got away from all that. Imagine her. She can just come up and I'm a trespass, walk all through wherever I want to. And, hey, I just want to speak to everybody. Brought coffee and little snacks, peanuts for everybody. It was good. Y'all good? Good seeing everybody. You don't work here no more. I mean, maybe they would. But you don't work here no more. You're supposed to, at least get a visitor badge or something. You don't just get to come and walk through and whatever. The replacement for this white woman, unless I didn't hear it correctly, he said that she's not even at her 5-year marker, and they removed some of her duties and responsibilities, so she has, maybe that's what, she doesn't have as much work experience, so we don't trust her. We got another incompetent white person who doesn't know how to talk to people and is unprofessional. That's his sister or something, but I don't know. So they said, we don't even trust you. We're not going to do this again. We gave the previous white man, that was the problem. We expected too much of him. This time we're going to dumb this job down and we'll just dump more on the niggers. What? He didn't say nothing about the black people that they dumped this on got a few extra nickels or a better parking space. Nope. We lightened it up for another incompetent white person, probably, who's not very experienced in this job. What they said, gonna need a little hand holding. And he had told us, I think they had a black female who had worked there for like 20 years and couldn't get a promotion. Like, come on. They thought she had the brain the size of an amoeba too. Like, we don't want to do that. He did mention privileged black male. I think he had told us before, so they, I guess, have 2 facilities, and so across the street or whatever it is, in close proximity, and so he has to go to both buildings. And he said the people at the other court facility or whatever it is, administrative facility, They don't speak to him when he goes to deliver the mail, and I guess he's over there on a regular basis, maybe daily, weekly, whatever it is, enough that they would recognize, like, oh, yes, that. But they don't. Hey, good to see you, black brother. Yeah. What you think about them Gators, man? They gonna do something this season? You excited, man? It's almost time. Well, we gonna do something, man. No. Wait, that. He said they speak to everybody, but they don't speak to. Now, I would say one. I would not be, another one, you can't be shocked about that. Can't be surprised about that system of white supremacy, race, and you can't be hurt about that either. It can't be something like, man, we've been going over there 5 years. It could be you've been going over there for 20 years. Whatever. Rapist. That's about, but and you got the brain the size of an amoeba. So you can't be hurt about that. You understand what it is. I have heard victims of racism who say, hey, my code is I speak. It doesn't matter if they reply. They could be mute for the next 5 years. But as long as I work, I speak. Now, I've heard some people, that's my code. It doesn't have anything to do with their response. It's just, I guess, one, you can't say rude, discourteous. Some people, that's just, and I say, hey, you did volunteer to take the job. I say, you speak morning, evening, you see, in particular, you see these people all the time. I say, yeah, speak. Now, I know some people, they say, if I speak and you ignore me, oh, okay, no problem. I won't speak. I understand that logic. I also see the logic. Hey, I'm not leaving this job and y'all gonna keep seeing me, so I'm gonna speak. It don't have nothing to do with you. Morning. And then, but I expected that. And I wasn't expecting you to do anything other than, It's not to be friends. It's not to be homies. Just, I took the job. This is workplace courtesy. Just morning. When I come in next week, morning. And keep it moving. What does it roll right off my shoulder? I don't even, give it another. Now, I know for some people, they say that they have worn the folks down and eventually they do speak, and that doesn't matter either. Again, we're not friends. We're not homies. I'm not bringing them no coffee. If they bring me some, I'm not drinking it. So it doesn't matter. But just race soldiers being race soldiers, them being discourteous. And really, I was also thinking, hey, if they're not speaking, at least can't be no racist jokes. Can't be no vendettas. Somebody come to work with a pistol, but they mad one day about whatever. Hey, can't be mad at you. We don't even speak. Can't be that you got a problem with me. At least that's ostensibly. Now, maybe not. But hey, that would just be more so. It would be, do not let it impact your black self-respect or taking it personal that they're not, where you're feeling bad about this and feeling hurt, like you got some sort of personal deficient. No. So the same thing we keep saying. Can't be shocked about white people practicing racism, white supremacy. This is one I think if he was classified as white, he might be invited in the clique, might be invited out to lunch. Come kick it for barbecue. We're doing what they call tailgate, when the Jaguars, they're going to kick off, they're going to do the preseason in a few weeks, man. We're going to come by and go to the game, man. It's going to be awesome, boy. Probably. System of white supremacy, racism. And, hey, they might be doing you a favor. Might be one of the, once they start talking and you don't really enjoy too much what they got to say anyway. So, hey. Any hoodles. Much obliged. Caller at the courthouse in Florida. We have done our 3. We will be back tomorrow. Catherine Massey Book Club debut session, brand new memoir from Robert F. Williams and Mabel Williams. Robert F. Williams, the author of Negroes with Guns, North Carolina legend, NAACP legend, Cuban legend, but Negroes with Guns, well-known book. He has a brand new, he and his wife Mabel Williams, brand new double memoir, was just published months ago. This is our palate cleanse for lion, Michelle Alexander's The New Jim Crow. Matter of fact, if I had to put, this would be our required book for the year. We're supposed to do one required read for the year. This would be it. We get our crown back, the biography kings. Not only do we get to read a brand new biography, but on the legend Robert F. Williams. And I suspect a lot of you all probably did not even know about this book because we do not read. And this was not a book that white people went out of their way to publicize, like Michelle Alexander. So Gusty is kind of doing us a favor picking the books and having this book as our read. So I am super excited, especially for folks who are not familiar with Robert and Mabel Williams, and that is Deliberate Effort of White Supremacy. But that will be tomorrow debut session. The memoirs of Robert and Mabel Williams at the Catherine Massey Book Club. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Alrighty. Sobriety would be best. Man, I'm so thankful to have made it through July 4. The FIFA tournament here in Seattle, Pride, man, system of white supremacy is dangerous. I could be shot and killed today, right now. But man, it seemed out of control. The debauchery and drunken whites and just, I'm so glad to be done with all of that. Sobriety would be best under conditions of white supremacy racism. Man, the work environment is so dangerous alone. You have to be able to make great decisions to keep yourself safe. White people and non-white people can be a hazard under the system of white supremacy racism, a lethal hazard. Being sober so that your brain, even your amoeba-sized brain, can work at maximum capacity. Creator, we ask that you remind us, stop saying not all white people are racist. Remind us, stop name-calling and cursing people classified as black. That leads to a lot of the workplace violence we have been discussing. It has been time. Replace white supremacy with justice immediately. Cow signing out. Thanks all for tuning in.
Nigga, you so brainwashed. I'm a victim, brother. You're a victim. I'm a victim of 400 years of conditioning. Shut up. The man has programmed my conditioning. Even my conditioning has been conditioned.